And with that fun fact, we are now officially live and not playing Killer 7. I was just trying to think about this before we get started. Killer 7, the big meme account that Twitter likes to do for that one is it's Friday night, correct?
Yeah,
And what do we do on Friday night?
we dance.
Thank you. But it's not Friday, it's actually Tuesday. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Shin Megami Tensei Network, link 240. I'm your live, never actually dancing on a Friday night host, Spencer Presley. Joining me for this part one of the finale of last week's episode and the beginning to the town hall portion of this episode is super baller, big, Raiden, Suda fanboy, Swery fanboy, everyone, Demi Crow fanboy, all the fanboys wrapped up into one. Jagingus, how's it going, man?
I'm just here fanboying,
So, Jag,
doing what I do.
as people know, and by people I mean no one besides me and you, your audio got completely crushed by Sega last week for no reason at all. And I think what it was we were talking some Sonic Colors smack.
Well, what else is new?
Yeah, so part of us talking was, hey, let's talk about whatever we want, and somehow Sonic Colors came up, and we said, what an absolute joke that they didn't update that game, and then the audio magically got corrupted at the speed of blur sound, and then they patched the game, in which no one has checked it to see if it's actually fixed, but clearly this means we're wrong. So that's what our life has been up to, and since we're starting this show with Sonic patch notes that aren't even actually that new, you know it's a slow news week. So thank you everyone for watching live, if you're here actually watching live. So a little bit of pretense before we get started into this. I did not just do this for clickbait. This is actually a big pre-SMT5 town hall, because Shin Megami Tensei 5 is actually going to have some pretty big news next week, at least in terms of people covering Shin Megami Tensei 5. But before I get into that, because I am going to tease you a little bit, people may not know who you are. Jack, who are you? If they've not been on the Discord, they'll if they have been on the Discord, they will probably definitely recognize you. But for all those Discordless people out there, who are you? How'd you get into this fandom, and how are you doing tonight?
Um, I'm just some random guy, really. I don't do anything. I'm not some content creator. I'm just here.
See, I feel like that's actually how I would still describe myself.
Well, you're at least the person running the podcast. I'm just the guy who gives you money.
Well, the funny thing is, I still I had to actually use the word influencer today in an email, and I felt very gross about it. I wasn't even
that that does feel very
I
awkward,
wasn't even
I would
describing
imagine.
myself. I just had to use it because it was part of something that the email was about, and I just felt ugh, yucky, yucky.
I mean, I get that. It
So
just seems weird.
you are a man, and what is a man if not just a big old dumb Castlevania meme? But we were talking about a lot of stuff last time. So in that week and a half since you and me have talked on the famously lost episode, what are you still playing, and what are you looking forward to playing?
Well, what I was playing before was Lost Judgment, but now I've beat that. Just last night, I actually started Alan Wake Remastered.
Oh, nice. Where are you playing that on?
PS5.
Oh, I have that. It is. I'm very ready to have that played in my. That'll be a good really close to Halloween pile. October has been way too good / bad for me. Um, basically, even today, I already have a whole bunch of stuff. I picked up Doki Doki, Super Monkey Ball. I actually got Observer. I still need to play Medium. Alan Wake, Lost Judgment. I still got to play Deathloop. I just got Far Cry 6 today. I'm still playing Demon Slayer, so
And I'm disappointed in you, Spencer. You haven't played Near Replicant yet.
that is true. I have it. I even splurged way too much on that steelbook. I was in a bigger hurry to get the steelbook than apparently to play the game. I will say this.
Did you just get the Steelbook, or did you get the actual White Snow edition?
No, I actually couldn't get the White Snow edition, so I ended up having to get it from someone in Japan who was selling it for a not cheap price.
Go figure, that's always the case.
I mean, it was still cheaper than buying the White Snow edition, because it was pay $60 basically for the steelbook, or pay $400 for the White Snow edition and a bunch of novels that would be cool, but I would never really look
Well,
at it.
it's literally the script of the game.
Yeah, like I.
Like
Oh,
it's everything.
which, by the way, shout out to friend of the show, Audrey. They have the special edition. I checked it out at their house
I
recently.
do too.
That's a really nice special edition. Those are comically small books, though. I thought they were going to be full-size ass books.
Well, I mean, there's literally like fucking like 7, 8 of them, and it's the entire script of the game, even like side missions and little one-off things, like when you drown or something.
Also, I have to just interject because I thought this was like a joke for a second, but Dimmy Crow, if you're listening, could you give me some context? Apparently, Rising Oblivion, a fellow YouTube person who talks Atlas things, is next door to someone being swatted. And I gotta be honest, I feel like I would instantly become the world's nosiest neighbor if someone next door to me was getting swatted. Not that I would ever wish that upon anyone, but like, if you like heard that happening, you've got to be like, I'm gonna creep out the front door a little bit. Like, let's see what's happening.
I probably mind my own business for the most part, honestly.
They're gonna look at you.
Like, what?
The SWAT team's gonna look at you, like bring the mask down, and go like, "You want some of this next? We're gonna SWAT you next, young man." Like, why'd you call me young man? Please don't call me young man. Apparently, Rising Oblivion is streaming. I don't even know like how do you describe that if you're streaming while someone next to you is getting swatted? I don't think that counts.
Unfortunate.
I don't think that counts as you also getting swatted. But enough about people getting swatted, because please don't ever do that, and I hope everyone's okay. But yeah, so we did a terrible job of your introduction, but we're doing a good job of what you're playing. How are you liking Alan Wake so far? Because I started Control, I did it on that stream, and I went, I like this so much, I actually kind of wanted to wait because I knew it was connected to Alan Wake of like, I think I will enjoy Control, even though I know they're super different, but I'm like, I think also, in terms of length, I feel like Alan Wake has got to be way less to play than all of Control and its DLC. So I was like, alright, let's wait, I'm sure, because like the Alan Wake remaster had been rumored forever, and it was like, alright, let's see what happens, and let's go over and see what happens. So, are you enjoying it so far? The most I've heard about it is like it looks really great, but I'm surprised how few people I've seen talking about it.
I mean, it's pretty interesting so far. It's my first time playing through it. It's actually funny because a bit before this remaster was like officially like put out there, or even like before it was like leaked, which is how I first found out it was real. I actually bought a 360 copy of it.
So no, I assume no Xbox One.
What do you mean?
Oh, I'm because there is because you can play it on Xbox One or Series X.
Well, no, I have an Xbox One. It's just I wanted a physical copy.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, what's funny is I've had a copy of Alan Wake and American Nightmare, but it was digital only because if you guys remember Quantum Break, that was the day one edition bonus. It came with all of Alan Wake, its DLC, and American Nightmare.
Well, American Nightmare has no physical anyway.
I think there's like a physical...
It was just an Xbox Live Arcade game.
I think there's a physical PC version, but also not... I've never heard anyone actually talk about American Nightmare very well. I will say, weird they didn't include it in the remaster. Like, I feel like
I was thinking that too.
Like, that's not something you want to sell on its own. So hopefully that's like something they can maybe patch into it or something, but like, that seemed really weird not to include.
Or maybe like a little like $5 DLC or something. I wouldn't be shocked if they did that.
Like, for me at least, like, I thought that would have been like a perfect, like, if you platinum it, you unlock this game, you know?
Well, yeah, but they don't do a lot of that kind of stuff anymore.
No, you're lucky to get like a high five or an email if you platinum stuff anymore.
Still waiting on those Persona 5 Royal themes.
Oh yeah. Well, I could email Sony, but like, let me tell you, as soon as you get a PS5, you cannot give less of a shit about themes.
Yeah, I that's the one sucky thing about a PS5. I miss dynamic themes.
See, actually, I don't miss them that much. My thing with themes is like, I actually like how the PS5 uses the HUD as like so large for each of the elements. So like
yeah,
I like the because actually a lot of people never noticed this, even though I kind of like made a video highlighting it. Atlas actually updated all of their games except I think the dancing games. Hilariously enough, they all got updated when the PS5 came out to have different, more kind of space fitting backgrounds because a lot of the old PS4 ones were very minimal because they're going to have a lot of HUD and stuff kind of overlaying them.
Okay. I haven't popped in like Royal or base P5 or something in a PS5. The only Persona game or Atlas games I put into my PS5 are SMT Nocturne and Strikers. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it was my first time seeing them on the PS5. So I don't know what they were like beforehand.
They were very very minimal, like just a lot of like here's the Velvet Room, like nothing very exciting at all. Um,
Mm.
but no, kind of last little thing I wanted to get in with you for it. So first off, what was your first Megaton game, and second off, what is your big pile of shame? I can't believe I haven't played it yet.
Uh, well, my first, well, same as probably most people, Persona 5. Woo.
See,
Call
I
me a
see.
fucking loser for that
I
one.
still think that people. I mean, this might just show my age. I still am coming from like I'm used to people saying 4 and 3 are their first. Like
Yeah, there's a good amount of people who are around that point. Just I didn't find out about it till some friends were talking about it, and I was like, oh, okay.
I think, and I have no shame to people like this. I think you are maybe more at risk of being labeled a fake fan, which I would never do on this show. But I
Oh
think
yeah.
like you're way more at risk of being called like a fake fan if you got into Persona or SMT through Smash, which I think is an awesome way to get into it. But I
Yeah.
think because it's so new in the like, Nintendo thing of it, like I think back in the day, like let's be
They're
honest,
gonna assume you just watched a Let's Play or something.
well, no, like back in the day, I think the thing was, oh, I got into Fire Emblem because of Smash, and it wasn't lame because that's literally Smash is what introduced the Western world to Fire Emblem. Whereas
Yeah,
like, whereas like now it's like, well, Smash is like because it's so popular, and then bringing over like Joker, it's not like oh, like at the reveal, it's cool because it's a weird like left field thing where it's like you're it's so weird, and it all goes back to this stupid thing of, by the way, it doesn't matter how you get into the series, whether it be a dancing game, a fighting game, or arena or whatever, or a visual novel. Get into the series, however, there's no shame at all. I just always find it so funny of like the idea that someone's like, oh, this thing is mainstream, so that the way you got into it is dumb. Like I'm sure that there are people out there who legitimately learned about who Master Chief is for the first time when he became a skin in Fortnite.
that's kind of sad to think about, but yeah, they're probably most likely there's someone on the younger side, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you never know.
So
I mean, Smash is what got me to eventually buy Final Fantasy VII Remake. Not like I've played it yet, but
that's a pile of shame. I know we need to be talking about S&T pile of shames.
I'm probably
Anytime I
gonna end up
find out,
playing 16 before 7. I'm gonna be
no,
real.
it's not. That's absolutely maddening to me. I cannot imagine that. Just because, like,
I've only just recently had some interest in Final Fantasy. Beforehand, I have never even
do you have the
tried.
PS5 version?
I upgraded the PS4 version to PS5.
Okay, so you still need that Yuffie DLC because let me tell you, that is
Yeah, I would.
mandatory DLC.
If I play the game and I like it, I would probably get it. But I'm just in no rush.
It,
Really, the first Final Fantasy game that actually like I looked at and I was like, that looks kind of neat. It was 16
you mean
because that shit
Origin?
just looked pretty bad. No,
You mean
no,
Origin?
16.
Yeah, Origin looks pretty good.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The Limp Bizkit did kind of want to make me go back to that demo. So
That was, man, what I could talk for so long about that demo, but I will not. I
it's an
will not do it.
original song too. Like what? I want to
It's.
know who at Square Enix called up Limp Bizkit.
I love the amount of people who legitimately apparently thought it was Limp Bizkit. Like the amount of people who are like, no, this is Fred Durst. Like Fred Durst is on a Final Fantasy. Like that's what I thought was more like hilarious to me. But no, like I will at least say this because I think this is a really, in most people's eyes, not my own, a blasphemous thing to say. But I
Mhm.
legitimately still stand by this. The best JRPG, no, sorry, the best RPG of last year, 110%, was Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII Remake destroyed Royal. Like when I hear people like, guys, Persona 5 Royal is like the best JRPG of the year last year, and I'm like, that might just be the most insane thing I've ever heard.
And then there's me over here with Yakuza 7.
Well, okay, I will say this. I need to put more time into Yakuza 7 before I say that. I bet it could, but the one thing I bet would turn it down for me is there's no moment like in Yakuza 7 where you have a wall. And thank God, because like having a wall in a game can really kind of negatively kind of ruin it. Like, there's no moment like in Yakuza 7 where people get to and just go, "Wow, this game fucking sucks." Whereas Yakuza 7
Yakuza
undoubtedly
7's
has
fucking
this.
good.
It's good, but it has a wall, and it's not a fun wall. Like, the only real wall, without getting into spoilers, and I will move on, is the Hell House. With no context, Hell House is easily the only wall in Final Fantasy VII, and it's only a wall because it's learning the systems, and it's a good, like, hey, make sure you know how to be good at this game before you, like, fuck around and find out. So, like, I appreciate it like that. But I will let you discover it. I would not be surprised. I need to like definitely sit down and finally like put my nose to the grindstone after probably Lost Judgment Yakuza 7. But I'm not sure when I'm gonna have time for that because tangent number 905. When I found out Elden Ring got delayed, I actually was really glad because I want to do a Souls from Born marathon.
Oh boy.
After SMT5, my plan is to stream myself playing in order Demon Souls PS5, Dark Souls Remastered, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Sekiro, and then end it with Bloodborne. You know what? I might do Bloodborne after Dark Souls 3 and then Sekiro just because Sekiro is so different, leading up into Elden Ring.
I've only ever played like a bit of Bloodborne. I honestly like I feel like I would pay more money for the controllers I'd break than the games themselves.
I'm thankfully not like a rage gamer for the most part. Like, I definitely have
I'm
had
not really for
moments.
the most part either. Just I don't know what it is. Just I guess it's a little intimidating. Maybe I don't know what it is. I just haven't
It
really
has
been
it
eager to try
has a very
into.
steep learning curve. That's for sure. It has a very steep learning curve.
Like I love video games, but I'm not exactly good at them.
What's funny is Bloodborne's actually one of the easier ones, which is funnily enough because actually I would say Sekiro is probably their hardest game, which is way more just like a Ninja Gaiden action game.
Hmm.
So let's get into your final question and then just dive deep into whatever the heck you want to talk about. So what is your pile of shame for SMT then?
Well, we talked about this in the lost episode,
Sonic
but
Colors, correct.
basically what I've mostly played is the Rido games, which were the main ones I wanted to play for some reason. I don't know why. Just I guess Rido just stuck out to me, and I'm like, yes, those games. I want to play
He's
those.
got a lot of drip. The Rito drip is real.
I mean, really, let's be real. And I mean, I have like most, if not all, of the all the English released ones in some way or another.
Mm-hmm.
But like majority, I haven't really done much. Like I played some Nocturne, some Soul Hackers, but I haven't really touched much. I need to get back into Nocturne some point. I'll probably try and get the four, but I wouldn't be surprised if five is the first one I actually beat.
I was gonna say when you're this close to 5, is it just because now we're like less than a month until the game's out, which is crazy? Like,
Yeah.
do you get to a point where you're like, why even play it? You know, like if if someone came up to me and was like, Spencer, I heard you love Shin Megami Tensei. Should I play 4? I have a copy right here. I'm on the start menu. Should I press start? I'd say no, just close it. Cause like you would gain nothing playing 4, marathoning it, and then immediately starting 5. I think. You know.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty valid. It's not like it's like an interlinked series or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. I mean, sometimes I like to do marathons just because like I don't get burnt out as easily as some other people, but like I mean, I'm also just not super eager to get into that now as 5 is about to come
Oh
out,
my
but
god.
I'm probably going to play 5 day 1.
That like reminded me.
As long as I get my Fall of Man edition day 1.
I had a friend who literally was like, I'm not gonna play Yakuza 7 till I play 0 through 6. I'm like, that is so not necessary. That is
It's not
beyond not
necessary,
necessary.
but at least with Yakuza 7 it kind of does help with some
It
things.
it helps, but it is one
It
of those things of like, hey, dude, like literally, I'll never forget this. I had a copy of Yakuza 7 to give to
mm-hmm.
a friend, and they were like, because I knew that they would love the RPG and the Dragon Questness of it all, and
Oh yeah.
they were like, nah, I gotta play the rest of them first. I'm like, insulting. That was
I'm
absolutely
I'm
insulting.
I mean, I can get it. I honestly did the same thing, although I just kind of it wasn't totally because of seven, but seven's what made me want to like give me motivation to finish through the series because I like took a bit of a break going through five. I think already going through zero and Kiwami and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I was just pretty into the series. Like I just started zero on a whim and I loved it. And I mean, I thought it was overall better to play them all before seven, but you could easily play it without all the other ones and be fine. There would just be some things you would miss out on, I guess.
I wanna. I definitely want to really get back to it, but I do find it funny. Of like, I did not think I would fall in love with Judgment more than I thought I did. Like, sorry, like, because basically, like, I thought I would like Judgment a lot. I'm finding myself liking it actually more than the overall kind of arc of a lot of the other Yakuza games, just because of the sort of like
That's fair.
tone of it all. But like, I love them for such different reasons, which is so funny because there are so many similarities between them.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, they're literally made by the same studio, of course.
So, oh man, I want to ask you this question just because I noticed with a lot of the RGG staff leaving after the NetEase purge, or I guess buyout, whatever. Of like, I thought it was interesting when he left. I had zero concern about the series because, like, for
Well,
my in my
he's been
brain,
taking a back seat for
yeah,
quite some time now.
like
So
a lot of the producers and a lot of the directors who were already there and the writers, like I have way more kind of like respect and like trust in the series because of the recent games and almost nothing to do with what Nagoshi has really done. And like
oh yeah,
no offense to Nagoshi, like he definitely has done a lot of great work and stuff for it, but like I haven't
yeah.
felt
He's the
like
one who made the series
he
practically.
but he hasn't spearheaded the series in a good way. And even in some other ways,
Yeah.
he definitely left a lot of stuff kind of like to be desired. Like he left he literally left Super Monkey Ball until one of the producer who's now working on it, who I'm forgetting his name, is going to be one of those things of like other people are stepping up, and thankfully they're doing a great job. So it's one of those funny ones where like I think if you took Kojima out of Kojima Productions, it'd be like look at the Konami situation. Immediately after he left, no one had faith in that company anymore.
Oh yeah.
Look at Ken Levine. When Ken Levine left Bioshock, I am not envious of who's making that next Bioshock because that's not a
Yeah.
Ken Levine game. So it's like, man, that's going to be really, really tough. And then look at other situations where it had a rough start, but eventually got it better. In the example of Gears of War, Cliffy B left Gears of War. Not everyone loved Judgment. 4 was a little sloppy, but people are liking 5. And then even in a worse direction that hopefully gets better, look at what happened when 343 took over Halo. We are
Mhm.
almost 5 games into 343's legacy, and we're hoping for this one to finally be the good one. Like that, like you
I
don't want
mean,
that on someone.
I'm gonna be real. I enjoyed Halo 4, but I mean the rest are there.
One day, I will finally get a Series X, hopefully the Halo edition, and I can marathon all of them because I would love nothing more than to just marathon the Halo campaigns in co-op.
It's been a while since I played it. I haven't even beat five. Not that I'm. It doesn't seem like I'm missing out on
No,
much.
I was gonna say yeah. Everyone I know who's played 5 says Halo 5 is absolutely trash. But hey, we're talking about Halo on SMTN, so that's we're living the good life. So I will not be too much of a caddy. I will give it a little bit of a heads up for news. So without getting into specific details, the news that is happening next week. I'm not sure if you guys will actually be hearing about it from people. I don't know if it'll be hush hush, but for now, I know it is not to be hush hush. Uh, as I've said since literally June, SMT5 is done. And one of the questions I've been getting asked a lot is when do you think people are getting it? When do you think reviews are coming? When do you think uh, it's happening? Because Atlas is normally very, very good, Atlas West at least, about giving a lot of lead time for reviews. And I think for a game like SMT5, it's always really like kind of curious to be like, all right, how are they going to handle this? What are they going to do? When are codes coming out? God knows when or if Spencer's ever going to get a code. You think this is like the one game I wouldn't have to ask a code for with a name like this? But hey, or I'm still busting my hump.
Maybe you'll get
So
lucky and they'll send you a special box.
I have, yeah. The last time Atlas ever sent me anything was a poster for Persona 4
Persona
Golden.
4?
Persona
Yeah,
4
that's what it
Golden, they
was.
sent me that poster with no warning, no note attached to it or anything. And I remember being really pissed off because that day I was waiting for an engagement ring to ship that had been in shipping hell forever. And I was like, there's a package here for you. And it's like, perfect, I got it. There's a big event I need this for. And it was not the ring. It was a fucking Atlas poster. Which, hey, thanks for the Atlas poster, but I've definitely not gotten
But like, why?
Yeah.
Was it even around the PC release?
It was a month after the PC release with no like warning about it or anything. I had to email Atlas. I was like, "Why did I get this?" And then Ari messaged me in one of her rare replies to me. She's like, "Oh yeah, this is to celebrate 4." I was like, "Why would I know this?" So yes, to get into it, good news. Codes are going out next week. I say good news as if anyone here is getting a code next week, but that means that obviously previews for the game are hopefully coming out soon. I really wonder when the embargo is, because I have normally had a lot of instances of Atlas being pretty bullish about when they put reviews out, of like, they're normally, unless they're like something like a Nocturne where they want it like closer than later, when they're pretty like feeling confident about a game, they want to have it really close up. But this is our first Atlas worldwide release that's mattered in a while, so I wouldn't be surprised, because also I say we have a lot of time, but really we are, let's see, we are less than 3 weeks away from this game being out. So I'm wondering if next week codes go out, after that's previews, let's say maybe for like the first dungeon or like the first 10 hours or something. And then the week after that, the Monday before the Friday release, reviews go live. So I'm excited at least that that's going to be a thing. And at least then, like, once codes start going out there, assuming that Nintendo and Atlas are kind of on the ball for it, I really hope that they just gonna go wild and give a lot of people chances to talk about this game. Because I think with how big of a release this could be, just get it in as many people's hands as possible. Like, if Metroid Dread is anything to kind of be a good deciding factor for it, it's like everyone reviewed Metroid Dread, everyone was talking about it, everyone loved it. I would love it if even for just like a weekend or two, SMT5 kind of gets that treatment, you know, of just like everyone's talking about it, everyone's playing it, hopefully everyone's loving it. So for you at least, like in terms of like someone, I don't know how much like games media coverage you watch or enjoy, like kind of digesting for it. Like what are you kind of expecting or hoping to see out of SMT5, knowing codes are going out?
I mean, I honestly don't really know what to expect. I mean, I don't know who specifically would get like codes or anything like that.
So the obvious
ones,
the obvious ones are going to be like your big outlets, IGNs, GameSpots, Game Informer. I wouldn't be surprised if Game Informer and them all already have a code.
Game Informer's been pretty tight with that lately.
Yeah, like with all the exclusives and stuff they've got, and like I said, the game's been done. Like literally, when the preload went up on the eShop, like beginning of this month or end of September, that the final product code was uploaded on the store. So it was one of those things of like literally the way you can tell when a game is done, and on the Nintendo server side, when Nintendo has a file size for it, that means the game's done. Like, they're not just spitballing. They're not just going to spitball that at all. So, I'm excited for it. I hope a lot of people that make sense get it, because nothing upsets me more.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're gonna send it to like more Atlas YouTubers or more Nintendo YouTubers or a bit of both. I don't know what.
Well, because like planning on that. Because it is another kind of opportunity for SMT to kind of finally hit with a larger audience. I definitely you want to get it into more people's hands and stuff like that. But I think it is always really depressing when, like, let's say you send it to like, oh, this is a pretty big games podcast, or oh, this is a channel, or this is a group that like to cover stuff like this, and it ends up getting, oh, hey, yeah, we gave this to Brian. Yeah, Brian like played 20 minutes. He says it's okay, but like he's still digging into it or whatever. So, like, nothing upsets me more than, like, when you see, like, a company gets a code for a game that you've been busting your ass and failing hard to get. Like, I remember Strikers was so infuriating of, like, no one was covering Strikers. And, like, all the coverage I saw was just like, oh, it's okay. It's like another Warriors game or whatever. Like, it reviewed good. But it was just one of those things that, like, all the preview treatment I just thought sucked so hard. So, I really hope we get a lot of different just like stuff out there of like, hey, obviously you don't want to spoil the game. Obviously, like you want to like it's not going to be like it's a free for all. Like I can't just tell you all, hey, DM Atlas, and then they're going to give you a copy of the code. But like you
I mean, you can
shouldn't.
try.
Yeah, you could try. So it is just one of those things of I hope it works out well. I'm excited for it. I'm also crossing my toes because literally, even though like I have heard back from them, I just always expect to never get a code. Like I never go into a situation, even in something like this, expecting a code. And every time I get a code, I'm always like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I got a code!" Like I want you all to know this is legitimate. I was as excited when I got a review code for Caligula 2 as I was for Persona 5. Like that's just the level of how my brain works for when I get review codes because I never expect to get them. I always
I mean,
put
I
in
know
there
you
for
were
it.
looking forward to Caligula too, so it was good that you got a code.
Oh
Like
yeah,
you got a review copy.
yes. Thankfully, most I always like tell this. I was actually telling this to Maka recently. I don't know why this is, and I've never been proven wrong. Atlas West specifically, Sega. I've literally just DM'd people and found codes for Sega games. Sega games are not that hard to get, apparently. Specifically, Atlas West games are the hardest games I've ever had to, in terms of legwork, emailing, messaging, and just hounding people to get review codes.
They just
Sony,
have you blacklisted, man.
yeah, it's the funniest thing of like
It was like, oh, it's this guy
it's
again.
all about numbers for them more than anyone else, which is very like I get it. Like I'm not gonna have a lot of reach. We only have like a couple thousand listeners and whatnot every week and stuff for it. But like I'm also aware I'm not small, so it's like one of those kind of like double edged sword things for it. Where it's like if I have an easier time getting a first party Sony game than this third party game, it always is like hard not to like kind of ask yourself why that is. But different PR departments, different things, different strokes for different folks and whatnot for it. But yeah, I'm at
I
the very
mean,
least like
maybe they just see the people who would watch you as they're people who would already get it anyway. So they're trying to get it to like people who wouldn't normally look into the kind of thing. I guess I don't know. That's the only logical thing I can think of
I
about it.
will at least say this: I am morbidly curious and horrified at the same time about SMT5 previews, just because when the last time we saw a lot of mainstream people talking about SMT5 was E3 because of its big reveal, and the absolute level of cringe was off the charts for me. I'm just like, I mean, it looks good, but like, it looks pretty bad, dude. I'm like, and I get it. Like,
Or they would talk about Metroid Dread instead.
I mean, I even talking about Metroid Dread. I think Metroid Dread looks great. I think Metroid Dread
Well,
is
yeah,
such a great
no,
style.
it's nothing against Metroid Dread. I just know I've seen like a few like people who were like watching like that E3 who were just like SMT5 came up for a while and they were just ignoring it, talking about Metroid Dread instead or something.
Cross Ren with the real correct answer. Give it to the Pokemon tubers.
It's like Pokemon.
Yo,
dark.
guys, listen. I promise, it's just like this. I'm promising I'm gonna get back to you, Jack. I want to catch up with the chat because I've been very bad about it. Ozzy says, Spencer, do you have any idea or info about how long SMT5 is, and do you think Atlas has shown all the environments? So, I definitely know we have barely seen anything of this game. Like, really, we've only seen like 4 or 5 different like gameplay environments. We've seen very little, and I recently had someone talking to me about it. Of like, I heard this number. I don't know if this is completion or like 100%ing it, but it made me very optimistic because this was what I was hoping and praying for. Of like, it's a 50-hour so game, which like that's perfect. I don't need 100. I don't want it to be like shorter than Nocturne, but I think 50 is a really good sweet spot for it. And when I had that
that's a
confirmed
good
to me,
number, I'd say.
because like let's be honest, no one's ever talked about like, oh, you know what makes Persona 5 really good is that it takes over 80 hours. Like those are not even hours of quality. Like we can we can trim like seriously if we trimmed some fat from Persona, I think Persona 5 could be a better game at 40 hours.
It could very well be. I mean, sometimes I like a bit of a longer game, but sometimes there's just some parts where
See, like
don't need to be there in a game.
I like a longer game for completionist stuff. Like
That's fair.
A great example, Caligula. You could beat Caligula 1 and 2 in like 20 hours or less if you do none of the side missions. And guess what? If you want to do the side missions, then it's like an 80-hour game. Like that's the kind of stuff I like of like really give the extra meat and potatoes to the side content. That's what I like.
That's fair.
Let's see what else I may have missed. By the way, because I did see someone was asking about this. Yeah, so this episode is going to be half one-on-one Jagathon, Jagoff, with a couple of Jagheads. And
Whoa.
then we will open it up to all of you until I have to get the heck out of here and finally beat Demon Slayer because I only have so many days off. And I'm apparently only experiencing the world of Demon Slayer through Demon Slayer Kimitsu no Yaiba, oh my god, it's such a long name.
Hinakomi Chronicles or
The
something like that?
Hiwakami Chronicles or whatever.
Yeah.
I love, like, by the way, if you look at the spine of that game, that is the full title. They have English title, Japanese title, the subtitle.
Well, yeah, even the anime itself is called Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba.
It's a choice. Like, imagine if you had to say Attack on Titan's name, but for all three regions. You have to say it's Attack on Titan, whatever it is in Japanese, and then AOT for Europe.
It's like that one European cover of Asia Calamity with the 3 logos on it.
Oh my god. That's like I appreciate that and also hate it equally at the same time. Like you'll see the ratings that are like, hey, we only wanted to print one cover for Europe, so we're gonna throw all 18 of their ratings on there.
Oh god.
So something else I want to talk about that Demicro brought up, and I'd be curious what you think about this as well, because I'm obviously big Monarch superfan bias guy. So Monarch's release day is the new delayed release day for Elden Ring, and I thought
That's
it's really funny that I'm thought of an idea that's going to fix this. So I'm not actually that worried, assuming NIS is smart about this. But I'm curious for you as like an outsider. A, I don't really know how you feel about Monarch, but B, like, do you think this bodes poorly for it? What do you think they should do? Do you think it'll even affect it at all?
I mean, I know Elden Ring is a very hyped up game right now. It has been for ever since its first announcement.
I mean, would you say it's fair? Like, I legitimately think this is probably true. I think Elden Ring is legitimately like the next big game. Like I think we haven't had a game probably this hyped since like Cyberpunk. I don't think it's as hyped as Cyberpunk, but this is like everybody is aware of it. Like Elden Ring is like a household name at this point.
Yeah, like I don't even play like FromSoft games like that, and I'm even somewhat like looking at Elden Ring like maybe.
Did you see the gameplay that like quote unquote leaked? And it's like 30 seconds of like a guy on a cliff jumping, and I'm like, that's all we need. Just show
Perfect.
us.
I love it.
Just show us this like 360p resolution Demon Souls character jumping. Like the best part is it looked so bad. That's how I knew it was real. I was like, okay, because like because the thing you might not know if you don't play a lot of Souls games is From games are beautiful, but they are also hella budget. Like they are really really low budget in a lot of aspects.
Mm.
So yeah, going back to the Monarch thing, like do you think this is something that would hurt it in February?
I mean, like it's literally the same day, isn't it?
It is, and I will say, like, so a couple of people on Twitter, and I remember Zeron especially was mentioning this, was like, well, it's the same day for Europe, but it's 3 days. Like, listen, if it's in the same week, it's the same release week. Like, release day specifically doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No one remembers that Far Cry 6 released on a Thursday. Like, the point was that it released a day before Metroid Dread. Like that's kind of the whole thing for it. So, like, it is basically launching on
I mean,
top
hell,
of each
I
other.
sometimes even forget Far Cry 6 exists.
I got my copy late, so that's my excuse. So I have that fancy steelbook to keep me company of.
I mean, I still haven't even beat 4.
You can skip 4. Sorry, Troy Baker. You can skip 5. Maybe play Primal, but I've heard 6 is like finally lives up to 3.
Just call me up when they get Blood Dragon 2.
Oh, hey, Blood Dragon's getting re-released next month. That's like part of the reason I wanted to buy the big steelbook edition because it comes with Blood Dragon.
Yeah, a re-release, but like I've already played it. I already know the game.
Listen,
I've played it plenty.
Jag, tell people what happens when you do the melee button in Blood Dragon.
Oh shit, it's been so long.
Oh, come on. You gotta remember this. You press the melee, but he doesn't punch. What does he do with his hand?
Oh my god. This is gonna irk me that it's been so many years.
If you
that I literally am blanking.
Can I spoil it for you?
Yeah, just say it.
If you do the melee button in Far Cry Blood Dragon, Michael Biehn, who is the guy you're playing as, Michael Biehn literally flips off. It's just a flip off button for a middle finger.
I
That's
had a
perfect.
feeling it was that.
It's perfect. What else do you need?
Blood Dragon was just something else. I love the Blood Dragon.
And what's funny is, like, it's been so long, like, literally, besides that, I really don't remember, like, anything else. I remember it had a great soundtrack. I love the flip-off button. And I remember it looking...
Like, that was, like, what, 2012, 2013?
Oh, yeah, probably. Like, if
It was,
not...
like, somewhere around there. Because it was Far Cry 3, so...
I think it was, like, actually 2012, if I'm not mistaken.
Because Far Cry 3, I think, was, like, 2011, 2012.
Yeah, and Blood Dragon was a little bit after it.
Yeah.
But yes, everyone please play Blood Dragon when it comes out. It's such a great game. And now we'll finally be on everything.
If they finally make a Blood Dragon physical, I'll probably buy it.
That actually is physically available on PS3 and 360.
Well, yeah, but it's like a bundle pack or something.
Yeah, you gotta get, like, it's Far Cry 2, 3, and... Actually, no, I think it was...
Blood Dragon.
I think instead of... Because I actually love Far Cry 2. I don't think it was 2. I think it was 3, 4, and Blood Dragon.
I know it was some bundle with, like, 3 games.
Because I forget that 4 came out on PS3 360. I'm sure those ports look absolutely chunky as hell.
I totally forgot that, too. Wow. That's weird to think about.
Which is funny, because actually Far Cry 1 and 2 are on 360 and PS3 as well. I've actually never played Far Cry 1. I remember I specifically played the Wii version of 1 for like 10 minutes, and it went, this is terrible. But then it was like, but I was aware, like, Wii versions of games aren't like the real game.
I mean... RE4 on Wii, though.
I am corrected. This is a great bundle. Yeah, Far Cry Compilation on 360 and PS3 is Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3, and Blood Dragon all on one disc. Which, by the way, Far Cry 2, made by the same guy who did Watchdog Legions, has an amazing amount of world systems that the game does not need at all. There's literally a malaria mechanic. It's such a great game.
That's right. I forgot about that. Oh, wow.
What a fun, weird... I remember, like, specifically, it's the last thing I'll say about Far Cry, I promise, but I remember I used to love watching Anthony Birch, writer of, he did, like, Hey Ash, but he also did Borderlands and a whole bunch of other stuff. He used to stream himself, or maybe he's just uploaded YouTube videos of him trying to do permadeath runs in Far Cry 2, because it was so easy to die. It was like its own run category. It was like, oh shit, I didn't take my malaria medicine. Alright, gotta start over. Like, I've never been one to watch people play games a lot, but I have specific memories of watching people play Far Cry 2 permadeath, Dishonored 1 no killing, which is very hard, and
it is.
Spelunky Run of the Days. Back when Spelunky 1 was really, really big, you could do those things like individual 1 runs, no retries, see how far you get. Those are really, really fun.
Yeah, stuff like that can be fun to watch.
So, welcome back to the 2012 Video Games Podcast. But yes, the reason, going back to Monarch and Elden Ring, why I'm not worried, is I think...
Yeah, that's right. We were talking about Monarch.
I think NIS America will be smart and do this. I'm looking up what the original release date was, because I have to make sure I type in the January one. It was 1-2-3. I think it would be such a big baller move, since Elden Ring stole Monarch's release date, that Monarch should take a month early and release on Elden Ring's original release date. Because there's nothing there. It's like Pokemon Arceus releases like a week before, but like, those are such different kind of things for it. I think that would be so perfect.
I mean, it could work.
Because January's dead.
You don't hear game companies making things come out earlier a whole lot. Like, last time I've seen that was Yakuza 7, but it was like a few days or something.
Well, that was literally just because Microsoft was like, hey...
Yeah, it was because of Xbox and Series X.
Our system's coming out. Can you release this game? Because, like, there were, like, such stupid things of, like, games that released Friday and the PS5 released Thursday.
Yeah.
Like, Call of Duty was hilarious. Call of Duty didn't launch on the system. It launched a day after the system.
I just know I was happy when I got the email that my Yakuza 7 was coming a few days early, and I was like, shit, bet.
So, I hope that they could do that. They have the ability. I know that game is really far along in development. I know the dub is almost done as well, because I've heard actually rumblings that January is when the Asian version will be patched. So I think at that point, like because like really, it's not like they're going to be rolling out of Christmas still working on it. I imagine they'll just be kind of fine polishing it until then. So
Hmm.
fingers crossed they can switch the release till January. Because like I was not kidding when I saw that release date. I was like the little kid with the clown scene from The Simpsons. I was like, stop, he's already dead.
Oh God.
So like, yeah, February needs to get some fucking delays. I don't think Horizon needs to move. I don't think Elden Ring needs to move. But like everything else, I'm kind of worried about. I'm like,
Spencer's just trying to get another PS5 physical earlier.
oh,
That's all it
true.
is.
That is true.
That's his plan.
Monarch will look so great in a very sexy.
I don't know if I would want to get it on PS5 or Switch. I guess it might depend on how the Switch version performs.
I checked out that Switch demo on my Japanese account, comparing it to the PS5 one. I thought I was
I downloaded it.
I thought I was playing a PlayStation 3 game, a good PlayStation 3 game, but it really, everything was running at half.
It really shows that it's on Switch.
Yeah, well, it's funny too, because actually going from Monarch to Caligula, which is what I did, ironically, was even Caligula looks very dated, and I think Caligula looks good. Caligula looks very budget compared to Monarch. Like Monarch running at 4K actually in 60 was really a sight to behold.
I mean, maybe I'll get it on PS5. I mean, I mostly play on my TV anyway. Just for some reason, I was like, I might want the Switch version. I'm just weird like that sometimes.
That's at least why I really appreciate that demo coming out. So it gave people like the ability to check it out. Like I remember I was really happy that.
Yeah, I need to give it a try at some point. I downloaded it, but I still haven't opened it up. But I can say that for a lot of demos. I don't end up playing a lot of the demos I download.
Oh man, that reminds me. I still have not played Deltarune Chapter 2, but I'm very behind. So I will catch up with chat, and we will finally get through this. I promise. At 45 minutes later. So Killamo asked, when is the Atlas shop opening? The Atlas shop is pretty much, I have been told, ready to go. They just haven't launched it. I'm guessing they want to do something for like Black Friday or something. Unless they have SMT5 merch, I'm just going to tell everyone right now, do not go in expecting that shop to be great. I have talked to some people who are working on that shop, and they have even not told me, like, hey, like, because I even, like, brought up the idea of, like, hey, so are you guys going to sell games finally? And it was just, like, you get, like, a disgruntled sigh, like, no, they don't want us to sell games on the Atlas Games Shop store. And you're like, oh my god.
Because like still not getting those Rido reprints.
Because let's even think about this like as a dumb thing that would actually be amazing for their books, even though people would probably complain, but we'd still buy it. Imagine if when the Atlas shop launched, they had an exclusive physical cover for SMT5. There was like a different cover, and you could only get it if you bought it from their online store.
I mean, if it looked cool, I'd probably buy it.
And the SMT5 art has not proved us wrong so far. It's got some banger art.
I mean, I'm gonna end up having like the Steelbook edition, I think, anyway. So having just a regular case for it too would be nice. But
ooh, speaking of Steelbook or case, I was thinking about this because I noticed a lot of people were in the Discord. We were talking about this of being disappointed. Metroid Dread does not have a standard case. I have not confirmed this. I could actually probably ask and find out. I don't think it would be that hard. Do you guys? Would you be mad if SMT5 only had a Steelbook and did not have a standard plastic case?
I mean, honestly, that's Atlas's track record with Steelbooks, so.
True, but this is their first Switch Collector's Edition.
Well, yeah, but I mean, from the looks of it, it doesn't look like it'll have a standard case in it. So if you would want that, you'd have to get that separate, most likely, which it was also the case with like Royal and P5. I would say Strikers, but that was Best Buy's Steelbook, so that's a whole different debacle.
Oh, just think about that. That was 8 months ago. Strikers was 8 months ago. This is the world we live in now.
That's strange. Well, technically, it was a year and 8 months ago if we go by Japan.
Oh yeah, we can't get that depressed. So, let's see. Hello to Misa. Misa is in here saying, will Atlas give me a code since I'm the Prime Minister's wife? I don't think you will get a code for Bring the Prime Minister's Wife. If you were the Prime Minister's Mistress, that would probably get you better, because like let's be real, like no one's like getting the wife anything, but like probably the mistress would get like something good on the side.
Atlas has priorities.
Cross Rinrin had another question saying, so SMT5 is open world or is it like SMT5? I'm pretty sure. Oh, SMT3. There we go. No, it is not like SMT. Sorry, it is not like SMT3, but it is not open world. If that makes any sense. So Shin Megami Tensei 5
Is it just like
is,
more open areas,
yeah,
basically?
it's gonna be like that Pokemon Arceus game. I forgot who was recently reporting on it, where it's like everyone had found out like, hey, that Pokemon Breath of the Wild game, it's not actually open world. Like there are large hub zones, but they are all like have a world map where you then go, okay, I'm going here. Okay, I'm going here. So the areas are going to be way larger than 3, but it's no way in hell it's an open connected world at all. That'd be great.
I mean, having it not be open world probably helps it like look and run a little better on
Oh,
Switch, like for loading
oh
and
yeah,
such.
oh yeah. Like honestly, the size of the like everything we've seen so far, I'm already surprised how big SMT5 looks in terms of its world.
You said they already had like the size for SMT5 on Switch.
Yep,
Like, how big is it?
it fits on a 16 gig card. I think it's like 13 and a half gigs.
Okay. Okay.
So I mean, honestly, for most RPGs, like I think a lot of companies like dread doing anything larger than a 16 gig card, just because 32s get a little pricey, and
Oh yeah.
only 2 games I think have done 64. Would you like to guess what those are?
I don't even know what that would be. Is
Drag.
is is one of them Witcher?
Yes, one of them is Witcher, and the other is Dragon Quest Heroes 1+2, the Japanese only version.
That's right. I keep forgetting that was released in Japan on Switch.
That was a
Why did we
launch
never
game.
get that?
That was because we technically hadn't gotten 2 yet in the West, and I think Square wanted to see how 2 would do, and it absolutely shit the bed. Like, it sold really, really
Uh,
badly. Which actually stinks because we only got the PS4 version in the West, and there's actually even
mm,
a Vita and PS3 version of Dragon Quest Heroes 2. Dragon Quest Heroes 2 is
a
awesome.
PS3 version.
There's even a PS3 version of Heroes 1 in Japan. Like, Heroes is a super... Like, I need to talk about Heroes one day, because most people don't know this, but, like, if you loved Persona 5 Strikers, Dragon Quest Heroes is actually just, like, Persona 5 Strikers for Dragon Quest.
I mean, I have them. I just want to play more Dragon Quest games before I go into it.
That I definitely
So I
get,
always know
because
the
there's...
characters.
Yeah, because there's such a tie-in to the characters, even though it is OCs and
Yeah.
stuff.
Like I see like some Dragon Quest 4 characters in one of them, and I
But,
mean, I need to get back to Dragon Quest 4 anyway.
by the way, I'm a fake fan, everyone. Please apologize.
Oh boy.
The game is actually SMT5 is 12.8 gigs, so I will now commit seppuku on myself immediately.
That's it. Podcast is canceled. Megami Tensei, delete the channel.
You know what? I've been too busy actually like getting ready for everything today to like reply, but LaRue made a tweet that was like, "I am the best," or like, "I am the biggest." Megami Tensei fan in the USA, and what I find is so funny is like I legitimately would love to like find out like one of the, because like, I think there's so many different ways to like kind of judge your size of like your fandom and stuff for it. Like I think merch is cool for like collecting for it, but it is such a different thing of like mentally like kind of like wrapping your head around like certain factors, and like it's such an unequatable kind of status, of like I think it's one thing to be like, I've got the most, like I bet, and I've not been proven wrong by this, and neither has he, I bet pretty certainly that LaRue probably has the most merch out of maybe one other guy I can think of who I can't name. Like, I know his name, but I'm not going to name it on the show. With the most merch. And
But does he have the European version of Devil Survivor 2?
hilariously no, but he did get a I did
Well, then
get
I think we know who wins.
There you go. The correct. You know what? Just for that, I'm gonna actually just retweet and say, yeah, but do you own this? And just post that, because let's be real, Devil Survivor 2, the Ghostlight edition, the Kickstarter copy. Yeah, that's the true sign of a real fan. But yeah, so like it was one of those funny things of like. I think about like, because I forget myself sometimes of like, I don't think you all know what a absolute nightmare zone my brain is for like game production and knowledge, like and story of details for something. So like it's just so funny. Like my brain is just completely like I could have learned 19 other languages if it wasn't for things I've learned through video games, probably. So it is
All that
absolutely
beautiful, useless knowledge.
exactly. It's like okay, this or memorizing the entire script of Dodgeball, a true underdog story, and I of course went with memorizing the script of Dodgeball.
Well, that'll obviously get you places. I mean, who wouldn't want to know the entire script of Dodgeball?
It's a hell of a movie, let me just tell you that. But hey, you know it's not about Dodgeball. Mark Louise's next question: has any DLC announcements for SMT5 been announced? Yes.
Didn't they say that they did it?
That was part of the
DLC?
first news direct, that live stream where they were taking burning fan questions, and the first question, of course, on everyone's mind was, I bet they were so happy when they saw this guy tweeted, because I literally no one else has tweeted it besides this one person. It was, oh, will there be difficulty DLC like a Nocturne? And they're like, we can confirm there is baby mode as DLC. Like, that's the only DLC. And, like, there is other DLC, but that's the only confirmed one. So, like, there will most likely be, like, Potato Activist says grinding DLC for sure, and Game Journalist DLC.
I figured they were going to end up putting another easy mode after Nocturne, honestly. Because, I mean, that probably brought in new people, and then they're going to be like, oh, there's people who don't like it being hard, so let's just cater to that a little bit.
So, for you, I wanted to kind of dig into this one a little bit out of curiosity, because you're jumping into 5. Do you have set expectations? Are you, like, have you been paying attention to everything, like, way too much as I should have? Or maybe should not have been doing? Like, where are you at mentally? Because, like, for me, I've just been like, num 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 num. Like, give me all the trailers, give me all the screenshots, num 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 num.
I mean, I haven't been looking at every little thing. I mean, I looked at the trailer today just because.
Oh yeah, let's actually talk about that.
The,
Like,
the
it's not.
South African trailer.
How much like do you like think like people when they saw that were like, is this a meme? Is this a real? It's the Nintendo South African account. So yeah,
I honestly had to look at the account to make sure it was a real account.
So what did you think of it?
I mean, it was pretty short and simple.
I will say I actually liked it more than the English dub reveal trailer, which is kind of funny. But I think it was just because it gave us more that we hadn't seen, whereas the English dub trailer just felt like we dubbed a trailer we saw 3 months ago.
That's fair. That's fair.
Also,
I mean, it was more about seeing who are the actors anyway. So I mean,
I would have liked an actual actor trailer and not a. I would have liked the actor trailer and not a character trailer, because we've seen information on these characters a ton. Like, I think it would actually behoove them almost to do a trailer saying, "Hey, here's Casey, here's Damien, here's Chris." Like, show us the actors. Like, don't just let us hear their like voice clips for 3 seconds.
Whoa, SMT5 live action?
Hey, there's still time. We could get an. Okay, we have $100 budget. We have the entire voice cast of SMT5, and we have to make a 30-second TV clip.
$95 of it goes to Nahabino's hair.
Yes, yeah, I'll do it. Immediately, we're going to Spirit Halloween, and we're buying the longest blue wig we can to put on Casey. So
either that or spray paint one blue.
Yeah, we'll have to get like an Elvira wig, like buy 3 of them and like duct tape them together and then just spray paint it blue. So, or we'll just go to Dairy Queen and give us your blue dip, and we'll dip the hair in like in the cone dip. So,
for the arm blade, we'll just get a flashlight, put a blue lens over it.
So I think if we basically just made a Mega 64 like bit of get all of the characters, or at least the main characters, in their real life outfits, but as shitty as possible. Like, get Ryan, who is I'm forgetting his demon's name, but he's the like the green Egyptian demon from the Egyptian Council and stuff. Like, get him. We'll drench him in. No. We'll not drench him. We'll give him one of those really crappy green screen suits and just cut a hole in his face. And then just, like, we'll give him, like, Shrek horns for no reason, and, like, maybe, like, we'll give him a DVD copy, or, no, we'll give him a DVD and a VHS copy of The Mummy starring Brendan Fraser in each hand to hold. Someone needs to Photoshop this, or I will by the end of the night. I want green screen Ryan holding Shrek and The Mummy stat and sent to his Twitter immediately. Because I hope that will not be viewed as a threat.
A cameo from Dwayne Johnson's Scorpion King.
We can't afford The Rock, but we can't afford his meme noise. We can't actually show him doing the meme, but we can at least afford the... So yeah, I think that would be pretty good. And it will only air between the hours of 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. on Adult Swim for a Wednesday night with no advertising.
Sounds like the best Wednesday night of my life.
So, man, what an absolute disaster this for. How has this been an hour already? Jag, why am I such a time waster?
I mean, I don't know. I'm having a good time.
So I gotta be honest with you. You're riding up. I almost said you're riding up on top of Daddy. So you're riding shotgun. You're co-hosting the show. Is it weird being live, considering you did the pre-recorded part that no one ever heard?
I mean, I thought it'd be kind of weird, but honestly, it just feels like talking, and that's really it. I even have the stream like on my computer right now.
You are the stream, and you're still streaming it. Thank you for giving me that one view. I appreciate it.
I'm a true supporter.
I will say this: Haunted Breadstick says, if they're putting out reviews codes soon, I do not want to look at the internet until I finish the game. So I would say don't worry until like a week before, because there's no way anything's going to come out and leak, really. I mean, to be fair, the Switch has a terrible piracy problem in terms of like not in terms of too many people pirate, mostly in terms of like it's way too easy to pirate. Like there are so many times where games are uploaded from people who review the game to like basically like, all right, here you go, here's the game, I'm reviewing it, but go have fun, everybody. Like
just stay off YouTube for that entire week.
Yeah, I will say just avoid, even though I don't subscribe to these people, I assume unsubscribe or hide videos from Buffmeister and Faz and just all of them. I wonder, like, do you think there's people who subscribe to them and go, fuck yeah, dude, I just got spoiled on the third boss in SMT5 a week early. Yeah! Love subscribing to this shit.
There would be someone.
Like, it truly boggles my mind. Like, when the whole, like, Faz debacle was happening, I would love to get Faz on the show and kind of talk about this, because, like, I had, like, such little, like, kind of, like, confusion as to why there would be any ire to nuke those channels. I'm like, well, let's be fair. The game has not come out yet, and you're posting things from the English version of this game that is not out yet, that people would like to experience in English, spoiler-free. Because, like, let's be real. When you see, like, because, like, there's always that worry, too, of, like, let's say you're watching a trailer for Metroid Dread right now, and the first video on YouTube's recommended to play next is, Final Boss Metroid is actually Samus's left hand. Like...
Yeah, like, anytime, like, a new game is coming out, and, like... it's something I want to try and go in as blind as possible to. I like any video anywhere close to relating to it, I just hit not interested on it just in case, so the algorithm doesn't give me it.
Like
YouTube has spoiled both Royal and P4 for me before.
P4 I can understand. I think we can at least give a spoiler warning for 5 seconds. What did it spoil for you on 5? I'm curious.
Who the last palace was for.
Oh, you said Royal. Okay. I would actually say P5 on its own, you cannot spoil P5. Like, if someone was like, and the final boss is a giant golden chalice that was actually Long Nose Guy. I'm like, no, not Nose Guy, the giant cello! I wanted it to be Bald Guy, damn it! Yeah. Like, P5's ending, I think, is like the definition of the world's longest, saddest fart by Hans Moleman or Grandpa Simpson or whatever. Like, it's just like, I could not have less sympathy for that fucking game's ending. I think that's ending is like
Spoilers, guys.
so
You fight
bad.
a god. Whoa.
Not even, dude. Like, literally, it's the most boring. Like, unless I have Alzheimer's for another Atlas game with the worst ending. Like, fighting the fucking IKEA lamp at the end of Nocturne is more exciting than fighting a Chalice in 5.
Well, the Chalice wasn't the final boss.
I will say, S1, this is a great possibility. Final boss for Metroid Dread, Samus's twin sister's booty cheeks. And when you die, instead of saying you're dead or game over, it just says you've been clapped.
Shit, where's my copy of Dread?
What if like that was just like the inside of the steelbook? It's just double-cheeked Samus twin body.
Then I'm glad I got it.
You know what I'm wondering? This is a real question I think about a lot, especially because I was playing a lot of Smash recently. Are there people out there who don't think Zero Suit Samus is sexy, but they think Armored Samus is sexy?
There's gotta be somebody.
Like, I really hope there's someone out there who hates Zero Suit Samus. Like, this is disgusting. Here, this is the stereotypical.
Women?
No, like this is the like they're like the like dumb BuzzFeed meme or whatever. Like, see, here it is. This is why I hate video games. It's the stereotypical ideal male fantasy.
I was just thinking about that.
And it's just double cheeked, high heels, Samus booty cheeks, and then you just see like the Giga Chad like Samus Aran Metroid Prime armor or whatever walking in, like, fuck, that gets me hard, man.
Oh my god. Demi Crow.
If that wasn't so, you know how you can tell that was honest, because Demi Crow did not donate that. He doesn't want everyone to know that he said "Step on me, Samus, with your metal foot," because if it was donated, then everyone would have to have known that thing. So,
well, we announced it. So.
Well, you're true, but I imagine at least half of the people who watch the show, like, they're just slow jerking in the background to Metroid Dread or other M in the background, and then like we're in the left AirPod or something.
Oh my god!
I need to like actually like do like a user survey. I used to do one like back in the day forever ago. Of like, I need to like see how people listen to the show. I always find it interesting. Like, there are some people who will like reach out and be like, "Oh, hey, I listen to it at work, I listen to it while I'm driving, or I do it like when I'm doing homework or something like that." And it's just so funny then of like those other cases of just like, I've like had people tell me like, I listen to the show not doing anything. I just sit in bed and I listen to it for 2 hours. And I'm like, that sounds like a very specific punishment, and I appreciate you for doing that.
I mean, I've done it before.
But like, not scrolling through Twitter, lights off, just I'm listening to the show, like I'm alone in your room whispering into your ear the hottest news.
I've done it.
I appreciate your honesty for everyone here. So,
like,
by the way, Chiaki...
I just sitting there on my phone.
Chiaki, thank you so much. That is true. There are lots of artists who do draw... Oh, now I'm thinking if this is... It's the internet, so I know that this porn exists, but I'm thinking about this. How could they do Metroid porn with Samus in the armor? Because
don't ask that question. Just stop right there.
The only way I can think about this is actually like if Samus is the one doing the pornographic acts. Like, this would be like where Metal Strap-On begins. Ooh, Demi Crow with the great question: will Metroid be nominated? So I'm gonna give a cynical answer that I want you to tell me if I'm being too honest or too mean. Metroid Dread, if it was not a Nintendo game, would never get nominated for Game of the Year. Even though I think it is really, really great so far. Like, I'm very excited. Once I beat Demon Slayer, I am all into those cheeks. I'm diving deep. I'm double cheeking it with Samus tomorrow. But I think if it wasn't a Nintendo game, it would not get nominated. What do you think?
That does sound somewhat likely. I can't even lie.
Because, like, let's be honest. Like, look at how many times games get absolutely robbed. Do you think anyone is going to nominate Hitman 3 this year? And Hitman 3 was a great game. Everyone talked about how great Hitman 3 was this year.
Oh, yeah, but, I mean, is anybody calling it a Game of the Year contender?
when it came out, people were like, Hitman 3 is a Game of the Year contender. But because it came
Well,
out
yeah,
in
but it came out in like fucking January.
But it was also one of those things of like, Hitman 3 is the best of what it's trying to do, and it literally includes the entire series. It includes Hitman 1, 2, and 3 in one game. It was like, hey, great job. They did it. We're excited. Mirth says, do you mean mainstream doesn't care about Metroidvanias? I think a mixture of yes, and I think there's also that bias between 2D games, even when it is 2.5D and Nintendo. Like, I'm going to say right now, I legitimately think this is true. If Metroid Dread gets nominated, there's not a chance in hell it wins Game of the Year this year.
No.
If Metroid Prime is a worst game but was still nominated for Game of the Year next year, Metroid Prime 4, it would win. Because it has a better chance of winning because it is a 3D first-person shooter.
I could see it, but honestly, I would be shocked if a Metroid game actually had a Game of the Year.
Chiaki bringing a great point. Best action game, but not Game of the Year. Here's the riff, because I've not played both. Do you think, because I'm sure you've probably played both, Jack, is it better than No More Heroes 3?
You were asking the wrong person.
Really?
Because first off, fucking pseudo bias, really? You're going to go for that?
That's why I thought you would be the most honest. Because I think if you ask most people, they would think you were joking and say, no fucking way. But the people I know who have played No More Heroes 3 and really love it say it is fucking amazing.
I would be shocked if No More Heroes even got nominated. I love No More Heroes 3, but I would have my jaw dropped if I ever saw it nominated.
One idea about how it gets nominated, and I want you to tell me what you think. OST. I think it could get at least I don't think it would win. I think it could at least get nominated for soundtrack, because it is a great soundtrack.
I would be happy with that.
Definitely not
if it gets nominated for anything, I'm happy with that. I don't expect it to be.
Family,
but if it did,
family
great.
Game of the Year.
Exactly. See, I mean, there's family in it, I guess.
Family drama between Damon and was it Fu? It's Fu,
Fu.
right? Yeah, Damon and Fu, the drama of the year goes Squid Game, Maid, Fu, and Damon.
Perfect. Amazing.
But yeah, it's like seriously, like from what you've played so far of both, do you think Metroid Dread has a chance of outsuiting No More Heroes? And actually, let me be more fair. When I mean outsuiting, I don't mean being a better No More Heroes game. I'm saying in terms of just at the end of the day, when you've beaten both, do you think No More Heroes 3 is going to be a better action game in your eyes?
Well, I mean, they're two pretty different types of action games.
They are, but they're not going to be separated in category. Like I think this year, looking at stuff,
I see Metroid getting like nominated for stuff more likely than No More Heroes 3. In that regard, I'm gonna be real.
Okay.
I don't think I would be surprised if No More Heroes got any kind of nomination for anything.
Oh, tell me, bring it up. Like, I think this is obvious, and I'm being very not biased at all. I legitimately expect Shin Megami Tensei 5 to win RPG of the Year. Like, even if it is half as good as my expectations. Like, what's its fucking competition for RPG of the Year?
I was just about to ask, what else?
Are they going to give it to the second demo for Deltarune? Which, hey, I'm sure is great. I loved Deltarune. I love Undertale, but like, they're not going to nominate like something that was like. There's not been a ton of just normal RPGs this year.
Yeah, I'm like trying to think of any RPGs like this year. Like, I mean,
oh my god,
well, there's Caligula.
Oh my god, what if this is hilarious to me? Oh my god, I forgot the way the Game Awards thinks about it too. There's two ways I could see it lose, and I think fans would fucking break their dick off. There's two games that could actually beat it, realistically, in terms of hype and possibility. I cannot believe I didn't think of this. This is actually like going to blow my mind. RPG of the Year, I could legitimately see not going to Tales of Arise. I think if Tales of Arise beat SMT5, no one would be mad because that is a pretty solid game.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
These two could definitely beat it, and people would flip their fucking lids, even though this might be a good excuse. Well, for one of them I will allow. The other one is absolutely not. Monster Hunter Rise will be nominated for RPG of the Year because for whatever reason the Western press thinks Monster Hunter is an RPG, even though I don't. I bet it could win RPG, which would be absolutely insane. Number 2, and I really think this is going to be the winner now that I think about it. How the hell does Mass Effect the Legendary Collection not win RPG of the Year? It's literally 3 of the best rated RPGs of all time.
Do they do that with re-releases like that?
There's no rule saying it can't. It's just whatever if it came out this year.
I mean, yeah, I mean, me personally, I don't really count re-releases for stuff like that, but this is a whole different. This is like fucking Jeff Keighley. What does he want to do?
Also, who said it? Chris Cross Rinrin. I will say this right now: if Shin Megami Tensei 3 shows up in any way at all to the Game Awards, I will personally donate $300 to any charity of Jeff Keighley's choice. That is how confident I am. No way in absolute hell Nocturne shows up at all. The only way it could
I'd
is
be
if
surprised if Nier Replicant got nominated. I saw someone mention.
No, Nier would be a nomination. Nier would be. I think Nier's a lock for 2. Nier's a lock for RPG, and Nier's a lock for OST.
Yeah, that's valid.
But no, like this has been a good year for RPGs, but not a great year.
Like now that you said it, it'll probably be Monster Hunter.
Oh, my wife came in because I said I was going to donate $300. So, this I'm saying is for I would if something I think happens. Sorry, if something I know will not happen happens. Because we're talking about an award show, and someone said, "Oh, will this really terrible re-release be there?" And I said, "No way. I'm so confident I would donate $300 to charity if I was wrong. That's how confident I am." Listen, those kids need it. They're poor. Those poor kids need the 300. I heard that. Can I say what happened? Okay. Confirmed.
Really just referred to SMT Nocturne as this bad re-release.
It was a bad. I chose my words carefully. I could have said a much meaner thing than a bad re-release.
And you wonder why Atlas doesn't send you stuff.
That's true. That's a good point.
Oh, you diss our re-release? You don't get SMT5. I could see Atlas being petty like that.
Never. They know I gave a 10 out of 10 to Strikers. That's all that counts. That's the one that really sold the most here anyway.
There you go.
So, oh my gosh, yeah. Game Awards this year will be absolutely crazy. Like other games, I think people legitimately kind of forget about some of the really, really big games that released this year. Like, I better fucking see Resident Evil Village show up in a couple of places. Like, speaking of like best action game, like in terms of most fun I've had with action, I loved Village.
Honestly, half of the games that came out this year I probably think came out last year for some reason. So that's why I forget them.
I'm actually looking at Metacritic. I'm curious what like the highest rated games are of 2021 so far. If I remember right, number one is still Disco Elysium, House of Fata Morgana, Hades. I don't super count because that was last year.
Okay, best RPG would probably be Monster Hunter or Disco Elysium.
But that was last year, so they wouldn't give it to him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Disco Elysium, this is the like console versions that came out this year. Technically, the final cut came out this year, but no one's going to count the final cut as a real...
I still haven't played it. I pre-ordered the PS5 physical, so...
Literally the first and newest RPG in the top 10, literally number 10, is Mass Effect Legendary Edition at a 90.
Of course it is.
Also, I don't know how to feel about this... Literally the same score, Final Fantasy Intergrade and Bowser Fury plus 3D World. I have no problems with that. I just find that literally hilarious.
I keep forgetting about Bowser's Fury.
Another February.
I mean, I liked Bowser's Fury. It was pretty good. But I forgot about it.
Another great soundtrack. Like, really, really good soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So, yeah, we
Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania in the running.
Oh, dude, did you see that Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania cracked the top 10 in Europe on its launch week?
Really?
I thought that was amazing. I was like, that was not one I expected to sell
That's
well.
actually a surprise.
So thank you, Aya. You're proving your worth.
You're making a comeback.
Also, I would be remiss not to say this. Davey Kerr says, I think Monster Hunter Rise can run for GOTY. I don't think it has GOTY potential. I will say this year is going to be the weirdest GOTY. Because I think no matter who you talk to, everyone's GOTY is going to be something different. Like, honestly, I think I could give GOTY, for me, if SMT5 is, like, remotely good. But, like, right now, I don't know what the fuck I say. Like, I have so many games I still have to beat. I'm like, I love Deathloop. I
haven't even begun to think about that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there's a lot.
I've played quite a bit of Deathloop. It's pretty fun. I mean, I need to get back to it and actually beat it, though.
Also, do not sleep. God, I hope it's good. But do not sleep on Guardians. Please, Guardians of the Galaxy, be good. I'm betting a lot on you for my Fantasy Critic League.
I'm sleeping hard on that. I'm sorry.
Dude, it's coming with 2 steelbooks. That exudes confidence.
I still don't want it. If it turns out good, I'll get it when it's like on sale for like $20 maybe.
I'll say this: when you say good, are you talking like over 85? Because like all I'm asking for is be over 80.
I don't even pay attention to the numbers like that. I'm like, as long as it seems like it's good, then okay.
It looks so solid. Like every time I've seen it, I'm always like, why
I don't
do people
go every
not
night
want
looking
it?
on Metacritic for the games I like. I'm just
no, I'm more just kind of meaning in terms of like, well, to be fair, the Fantasy Critic I need to worry about Open Critic, but like in terms of like actual excitement for a game, I love Guardians of the Galaxy. It looks solid. It actually is doing a lot of interesting RPG elements, and like Eidos Montreal really haven't fucked up a game since like Thief 2014, and even that has some good quals.
I mean, it's nothing I'm really looking forward to, but I mean, if it turns out good, then okay, maybe I'll bite.
It's no Jump Force. I'll say that. It's no Jump Force. So...
we don't need to talk about that.
No, we don't. So, Jag, I don't know how we spent an hour and 20 minutes, but I do need to make some part of this actually open to everybody else. So, before we say goodbye, I want you to have the ability to not only plug yourself if you want and see where people can chit-chat with if you want, but everyone who's watching this live, if you would like to go to the Shin Megami Tensei Network Discord server and hop into the Town Hall where you will mute yourself immediately, Jag can pick the first person to pass the baton to. I've decided, instead of me picking and feeling bad, because basically when people load up into the Town Hall and then go, oh god, like, oh, like, I mean, do I go in order? I forgot who came in last, who came in first, who do I put? So Jag and everyone else, I will make a new baton passing system of basically when someone is in the Town Hall, the last, like, you kind of get the talking stick of like, okay, who gets the co-host seat? So Jag, how was your first real, actually recorded this time episode of the podcast?
I'd say it was a pretty good time. I like doing this.
Okay, we're going back to the RPG discussion. I just thought of something thanks to half my friends list always playing it. I'm changing my mind unless something really terrible changes, or it might not get nominated because of the specific kind of RPG this is. I would be absolutely amazingly shocked if Endwalker is not RPG of the Year. The Final Fantasy XIV expansion. Because people are crazy about 14.
People do go crazy for 14.
Also, oh my god, I just looked in the Discord. Demonica Crackers showing ultra widescreen Monster Hunter Rise looks like an insane mod.
He does love his ultra wide. I
will say, Death Stranding Director's Cut has made me a believer in ultra wide. I did not believe the hype until I saw it in that game and went, ooh, that's a good looking ultra wide.
I don't have that kind of option, so I can't try it out.
Well, no, that's the best part, because the PS5 doesn't actually support ultra-wide display. If you have an OLED, it just turns off all the pixels. So you kind of get like black bars at the top and bottom, but if you have a big enough TV, it's still a really big image. All right, so Jag, thank you so much. Thank you for talking. Thank you for being up to doing this with me, not only live but in general. So I appreciate that a lot. Where, if anywhere, would you like people to come and follow you?
Um, I'm on Twitter at Jagingus. Surprise, surprise.
Was that a hard lock?
A hard lock.
Well, yeah, because you got to get you didn't have to get Jag to Angus to.
You think anyone else ever thought of Jagingus before?
Did we ever go over the Jag origin story? Like, where's the Jag Angus even come from?
It's not much of an origin story. I'm gonna be real.
Is it your legal name?
You already know my legal name.
That's true, actually.
You were disappointed to find out that I wasn't Jagingus.
I cashed those checks. I found that out.
It's on my Twitter even. Like,
So, no, but yeah, what's the Batman orphan story for Jagingus?
literally, it's just some random name that some guy I knew in high school called me one time, and I just liked it and started using it for usernames, and it just stuck, and now I'm Jagingus all the time.
I appreciate it. I appreciate
Literally
the
all
honesty.
it is. It was Jagingus and Gruggininston or something.
There's a full name to it. The 14th.
Oh no, that was the other person.
But yeah, thank you so much, man. It was great talking to you. Who would you like to pass it off? We have Ben, Cross Ren, King of Jack Bros, Tell Me, and that so-called edgy ...
I think we'll hand it over to Tommy for the time being.
All right. I appreciate it. You have the final goodbye, so no pressure.
Bye.
Well, that was a deep one. I appreciated that. Thank you. And now off to the patron-free town hall where everyone can join on the Discord. Links below in the video description. Just make sure you mute yourself and we can get on in and chit-chat the probably little bit of the night away. I do have other things to do. This is my day off, everybody. So goodbye and hello. Tell me, get on off of that mute button.
Oh, hello.
What's going on? How are you doing tonight? Who's twisted your nipples tonight? Who's got you in a cross?
Twisted my nipple? Sora, the protagonist. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, you're perfect.
Okay. The only person I can say who's twisted my nipples is Sora, the protagonist of Kingdom Hearts. He's kind of a bit annoying to fight against.
I know he's new because obviously you're going to come off of him different a week after a day. I think Sora has done the triple threat, which I've never seen in a Smash character, of perfect reveal, perfect character execution, and actually fun to play. Because I thought, I actually got a little disappointed because I was pretty late to playing Joker. I thought Joker had a perfect reveal. I thought Joker had a pretty good template of moves, and then when I started playing as him, I'm like, oh, he's actually not that fun to play as.
I actually made him. I think he is the most fun to play for me. But besides that, I'm not too into Kingdom Hearts, but I know a lot of people like it. I'm not sure if it was the big as maybe it's different from an Asian perspective, but I don't think it was the biggest reveal that everyone would be happy about. But he's
really
okay. I mean, yeah, he's kind of in my mindset. He's kind of just like the emo kids from the, the early 2000s.
No way,
that's
Jose.
That's the main fan base in my eyes.
Oh my god, no, dude. Seriously. You all better run for the fucking hills when I finally get out of here and make a Kingdom Hearts podcast, because it's coming.
I mean, it's supposed to be a kid-friendly series, right? I don't
think
I've heard anyone
it's not. That's the thing, is there's legitimate, there's heartache and turmoil and characters
there's all that in Ocarina of Time.
I will say this.
E10.
I will say this. I think Kingdom Hearts is more mature than The Legend of Zelda.
Well, Zelda's very, very, but
Even in like the Majora's Mask, I think Kingdom Hearts has bigger emotional hits than even something like Majora's Mask Into the World.
I think they're targeting the same age group for the most part.
Ooh,
But
Mirth
even
brings up a
so,
great point. Who did you main before Joker? Because I can see someone who played Pikachu liking Joker a lot.
I fucking hate Pikachu. I kind of like the Link. I wasn't really like I was kind of fucking garbage at the game before Ultimate came out, so I didn't really have a real main before Joker. I just liked Link and shooting people and hitting people. Samus was pretty cool, but mostly because I just liked Metroid and less because of her playstyle.
Now,
I just kind of played who was cool.
as a Joker main, I have to ask you very important questions. There's 3 questions I have for you. What is your color outfit?
Persona 1 most of the time. I kind of like the basic school uniform too, but it's usually the Revelations one.
Question number 2, what is your favorite music to play on Joker's stage?
Um, as like a fighting music, I think Wake Up, Get Out There loops really well.
Okay.
As a song, I think the Beneath the Mask remix goes insane.
As a
But it's kind
really
of short.
like that, I think there's a really great like I would love to like dedicate 9 hours of my life to go through every song in Smash Brothers and like rank it, because like it's not the song as you know it, because like the way they fit that many songs in there is like it's never the full song. Like there's even hilariously like there's actually a petition out there for people to get the full DK rap in Smash Ultimate, because it's not the full DK rap. So like I would love to actually rank every Smash song in terms of like how it loops, because like there are definitely some where it's like I remember playing Smash Brawl, and I was amazed at how Calling to the Night fit just as well as I wanted. Like, Calling to the Night, like, fucked so hard, and I was like, that's, like, one of my favorite, like, Metal Gear songs for it. Like, I needed that to happen so bad. So no, final question, then. Do you have a Joker amiibo?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Boxed or unboxed?
It is unboxed. I've made a build.
Jarred or mason jarless?
I don't have a mason jar in my house. I put it in like a lemonade pitcher. That was the closest thing I had to a jar for like a shitty Twitter joke.
You know what's funny? Like, I actually open every amiibo that I've ever bought except Joker, because I don't have him on display with my amiibo. I have him actually just in the little Atlas shelf.
With Mega, yeah.
So it's it is funny of like I have nothing stopping me from opening it because Smash Amiibo are so useless, he has no reason to get opened up. But what's funny is like seriously, if he had any function in any game, like even in Strikers, if it gave me literally 1 extra SP point, I would rip him open out of that box immediately.
I think they're actually the most useful, but only in Smash Bros. I really like how they implement them. I think that's a really fun thing.
I like the idea of like building and training your character on that. But yeah, I'm definitely from the aspect of like using it in other games. Like even the fact of like I think probably I could say Mario Maker 1 had a really good amiibo use, but obviously
Mario Maker 1 was lit.
I loved that really satisfying feeling of using my amiibo in Smash to unlock spirits. I thought that was like I've legitimately been surprised. I've been surprised about like how much of a meme spirits were, and then being like, wow, like they actually put a lot of like effort into theming these battles for these little fucking JPEGs.
With that said, I'd prefer trophies because the flavor text from I believe the Earthbound scriptwriter is really fucking good. And
True.
like the trophies are like since Melee, they've been so iconic. They are the amiibo. The amiibo are based off of the trophies. And it was really weird in Sora's trailer when they brought him back, even though Sora had nothing to do with the previous games.
He was he was lighting the darkness. He was freeing them all from the eternity hell of Sakurai's shelf.
I remember all the memes people were making of breaking into Sakurai's house to find out who the next character is.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. That was back when like Amiibo actually came out at a regular pace. Like legitimately, I bet you Sora's Amiibo will come out in 2024.
It was actually after, I believe, the Pyra and Mithra presentation, because he said something like, I like to have figures and statues of the characters to see them in a 3D environment. And then everyone was like, oh, this means that he has a figure of every character. This means that a character has to have a figure to be a fighter. When I don't think that's necessarily true, but the memes are funny.
I think he can't talk about Sakurai's figures without shouting out the fact that Sakurai, when he announced Mithra and Pyra, had the giant fucking big titty
Oh, yeah.
figures of them. I thought that was so great. Like, because I think like it would have been like if that was more of a actually like because what's the best part about those Sakurai videos is they have like a $5 budget. Like these are some of Nintendo's biggest videos and longest videos, but it's literally like a fucking like an iPhone filming intern in Sakurai with a bunch of controllers by himself.
I mean, I kind of like that.
No, but yeah,
it's way more.
It's very it's so perfect and personal for like what that is. Because like honestly, we don't need like imagine like how other characters like, and I mean like it's different for everyone, but it's like looking at like the spectacle Mortal Kombat gives like here's fucking Joker for Injustice, dude. Like look at his sweet move, and then just being like I'm gonna show like because what's really funny, and I wish I'd gotten into this more with my Smash video. Talking a little bit when I was predicting Nahabino, but also talking about Sora, is what's really funny is if you notice, Sakurai did a character breakdown for everyone except Joker. Joker is a finely produced, here's a, like, we dubbed it and everything, like, they even got, like, the cast from P5, and guess what? I fucking hate that video. That video fucking sucks. Like, I don't need the cast of P5 telling me about that character. Make it 40 minutes long and it's Sakurai playing by himself and talking about working and building that character. That's awesome.
I don't know if you remember the Smash 4 presentations, but they kind of did a mix of both. It was all Sakurai. He was making jokes and shit, but it was like professionally presented. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of the Joker one. I would have much preferred Sakurai talk about Persona and possibly Mega 10 for an E10 rated game.
Like, and the best part is the things that make us laugh from the Sakurai's presents are almost like the most not like relating to Smash at all. Like, I laughed so hard at Sakurai. No, what's funny is I laughed so hard at Sakurai showing footage of Kingdom Hearts and just straight up it says PlayStation 4 footage. Oh, and that is fucking amazing. And like, no, when he even like, because he even did this before with Banjo. He's like, well, you can't play Banjo, but here it is on 360. These sure are fun games, aren't they?
Yeah, but that wasn't like, that was like a Microsoft character. Like, Microsoft was involved in that production.
Also,
there was like, absolutely no reason to have PlayStation in that presentation.
Can I, like, how great would it have been they strictly only show footage of Melody of Memory, the 3DS version of Dream Drop Distance, and the Game Boy Advance version of Chain of Memory. It's like, man, this sure is a great series, right? You're either sleeping, card gaming, or musicking around. Man, these characters are all over the place. So, the last Smash thing I want to say, because I thought about this also recently, of like, you know how like Nintendo fans, even though Sakurai has never said this is a rule, his only rule is Smash characters have to be from video games. People always like to be like, well, maybe if Joker... We see Joker released in 2018, but Persona 5 Strikers released 2 years later. They probably knew Strikers was coming to Nintendo Switch. Like, they always have to act like it is on a Nintendo platform in some form. And, like, what I love about that is everyone's like, oh, but it all makes sense now. Cloud's on Switch, Banjo's coming to Switch, Mithra and Pyra obviously are on there, like all the characters, like Joker's now on it, and then like really in reality that's never been a rule, because you know who's one character who has no representation on the Switch and literally everyone forgot about him even though he's the last character, is fucking Kazuya. Where's Tekken 7 on the Switch?
Actually, they had Tekken Tag Tournament 2 on the Nintendo Wii U, but
that's the best stretch we've got. Where it's like, I just think it's so funny. Is like, why would you limit the characters you pick to characters on our system? Like, yeah, for Nintendo it makes sense, but it's like literally like, let me tell you guys, we weren't picking Sephiroth because you can play as PS1's Cloud on the Switch. Sephiroth came out because Final Fantasy Remake was fucking huge.
Yeah, I mean, to support that, when Cloud was announced for Smash on Wii U, which would be like 4 years before Final Fantasy VII came to any Nintendo platform. The logos they used in like the direct and everything was Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Mhm.
They were very clearly.
And very, very clear point. What is one of the things that is exclusive to Cloud that almost no other character has? He is only the Japanese voice because they were recasting Cloud from 7 and they didn't want to use old Cloud in Smash to then change him up in Remake. Whereas Japanese, it's all the same character.
I'm not that familiar with the whole casting of Final Fantasy characters. I was always told because it was because the actors for Cloud and Sephiroth were unionized. They had like a super strict union or something like that.
No,
the English actors.
Yeah, the reason behind it was basically because they had actually started dubbing 7 Remake with the original actors, and then they stopped after a couple of years. The Square Enix Japan actually was the one who stopped it. They were like, we want new faces. Like, this is a new opportunity. Let's get some new faces, new voices in here. And, like, I think it was the right move in the end, but it did definitely... It was like how there were people who were pissed off that, like, Claire and Leon were recast in RA2 Remake.
Well, it's interesting that they didn't do it in Ultimate then, since Ultimate had a few actors that were not in English before, voiced in English in Ultimate.
I think with Ultimate's kind of thing, where it was like, it wouldn't have made sense just to get this one guy to come in from another series. Like, I think if Ultimate launched with Sephiroth, I could have seen them, like, excusing it, but then it was just kind of an easy thing to, like, not have to make a separate character for. Because, like, let's be real, the fact that there are any character, like, the fact that any character has a English dub version of it is kind of incredible. Like, we don't need English dub anyone in this game, but it just adds to, like, the circumstance and the pomp of it all.
I kind of don't really like Japanese dubs of Atlas games, so I'm gonna stick to that we needed English Joker, but I mean, yeah.
Well, that would have literally been the most hilarious leave out of all time, because he is the announcer, is the same voice actor.
Yeah, you wouldn't even have to go through fucking Atlas or Sega to do it. But I mean, yeah, I don't think there was even any, like, until Smash 4, there wasn't any, like, regional voices. Everyone was either their English in Brawl, or everyone was either they were only English or only Japanese in all regions. Unless I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. We do have breaking news, breaking almost news. SMT5 presents News Volume 4 releases tomorrow. Thank God it's at least nighttime. Actually, no, it doesn't matter, because tomorrow's my day off, so that's perfect. Okay, so yeah, tomorrow, assuming... I'm going to message him now to remind him, because I have to do everything SMT5 with Ozzy. And somehow we've not lost our streak. We've not missed a single live event together. Let's find out. SMT5 news for tomorrow.
So,
you in question mark. Correct.
So what I'm wondering is, what are they going to cover? The South African special? What's new to cover?
Well, remember, this is their final one before release, and they are wrapping up TGS and everything, so the big worry is that their only thing they're going to show is Q&A and DLC. I would like, at least, for this to kind of be our last moment of, like, show off stuff, but don't give us too much, you know?
If it was like a substantial Q&A where they had like a lot of questions and like actually good questions. What's this posted by Zeron here?
So yeah, Zeron, I wanna get Zeron in here for the next one. So Zeron, if you want to unmute yourself, because I would actually like to ask you, since you're breaking the news and throwing us the links here, you can feel free to unmute yourself. Great idea. I actually could see it happening, and I would like both of your thoughts on this. I could totally see a demo. Because there's been a public demo of this ready since E3. I don't think it'll come out in English, because God forbid Atlas West does demos.
Yeah.
But if they drop the JP demo, that would be huge. Because, like, let's be real, review code's going out to everyone. Like, the next best thing, if you can't get your hands on a review code, is, hey, at least you got the fucking Japanese demo to fuck around in.
Yeah, I remember you saying in one of the podcasts at one point that Sega and Atlas really hate Western side demos, but I think Nintendo might possibly be a factor in that. Maybe they really want a demo of this game.
Well,
Was there a demo
Nintendo
of?
is very pro demo. Nintendo will always
Yeah.
lean into demos when they can.
Was there a demo? There was a demo of WarioWare. I remember
Hmm.
that. Um, was there a demo of like No More Heroes? I'm trying to think of like Nintendo involved games
No,
that
not
aren't.
The only
not for that one.
All right.
There we go. We got
um
Zeron here. So Zeron, where are you at in demo gate? Are you pro
Demo
demo
gate.
or no demo?
I want a demo. I want to play the I want to try it. The
Like
only
literally, I think that would be the best PR move they could do without spoiling anything.
Well, yeah, if it was honestly, I would skip out on it. But if it was only like the desert area that we've seen,
yeah,
like 90% of the footage is in the desert area, then I'd
yeah.
play that.
Everyone's desert demo into the same by getting absolutely one-shotted by that fucking Titan guy.
So true.
The only concern I have for this news volume, it doesn't have the YouTube closed caption logo. You can see
Oh.
the difference between news volume number 4 and 3.
I
And it did.
think the reason behind that, and I will and I'll give us our transition so we don't have too much crosstalk. But I think the reason behind that is since this is going to primarily be Q&A focused, and apparently Atlas Japan is a bunch of nihilist people who hate Americans and aim in the English language. They will only pick Japanese questions, and so what's really the point in showing, hey guys, we're answering your fan questions? Only if you're Japanese though. So like it kind of is like it's not really gonna help any
That is
American
true.
fans. Because
That
like,
is
Because,
true.
like, let's be real. Every time they've picked a fan question, I fucking roast it for being a waste of everyone's time for answering it.
To
That
support
is
your
true.
point though, the thumbnail is very different. They don't have any like doi art as like
Yeah,
half
no
the
character
thumbnail.
art. It's just the logo and the number 4.
So
And
tell
I
me,
still remember, here's the thing, Strikers did have a Japanese demo on their last Morgana newsletter report.
mm-hmm.
So if they want to announce demo, it's the perfect time. Plus, I did not yet see any English media outlets having a preview event like IGN having a 20-minute gameplay of their own. That is in English, like the English build, like the English subtitles and then English voices
I
or games like.
I actually I want to dive into that actually, but here let me give you tell me before we say goodbye. Is there any last thing you want to say or anything you want to piece out on or tell everyone where they can tell you your great Smash opinions?
I mean, in terms of self promotion, I'm Taomi. That's all you need to know. Otherwise, I just wanted to touch on something you were saying with Jagingus earlier in terms of the award show. I honestly think the main competition for Shin 5 is going to be Striker.
I love Strikers. I actually think there's a chance I like Strikers more than 5, as hilariously blasphemous as that is, but because I'm a big Koei fanboy. I think there is not a chance in hell that Strikers gets nominated for anything, and if it does, it'll be OST only. I would love
How
to be
I'm
wrong.
seeing how I'm seeing it is if they would nominate Royal, which is just a fucking re-release, why wouldn't they nominate Strikers? It seems they have a kind of Persona 5 bias going.
I do think in terms of who will be nominating the games, because it is always important to remember, Game Awards is always Jeff Keighley picks media outlet and influencers and stuff. There will be way more people who will have played it, Persona 5 Strikers than 5. But I think that's mostly due to the fact of, like you said, name recognition more than quality.
I guess. We will see though.
I appreciate that wild card. I would love to see Strikers there, but I don't think I can get my hopes up or recommend it to anybody. But thank you for popping on, man.
No problem. Peace.
Okay, so the thing we were talking about this, I wanted to get back into Zero. So I think this is a bold claim for it. If they don't do a demo, I want to just preface everyone right now. I think this might be the worst one that they do, though. and kind of going back to it's not going to be closed captioned by Atlas West. Like they're kind of preparing us by not localizing it. So like it's kind of one of those things of like go in with no expectations. Hopefully we are proven wrong. Hopefully a demo will be a great one because like you said, every instance of Atlas doing a demo and even Sega doing demo, like Sega's very infamous for
Yeah,
doing very beefy
Lost
demos.
Judgment one. The
Uh,
Lost Judgment one was Japanese only, but
Well,
then
actually,
yes, English.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, imagine because this is a worldwide release, how big that would be of a like, hey guys, SMT5 gameplay coming out this week in English with the demo. Like that would be huge.
And also the news volume number 4 didn't not just having English closed caption, but doesn't have any Korean or traditional Chinese, which is also what they have before.
So
Hmm.
clearly, what we need to do is I need to start messaging the Game Informer people because remember, they always at the end of every
But
news
yeah,
presentation they always drop everything we learned from the
a
Japanese
screenshot.
presentation on there. So I'm going to be like, all right, so you can't tell me what it is, but let me see if I can get any demo feelers out tomorrow. So hopefully we won't be getting too much demo fever, but I will definitely probably be clickbaiting title demo tomorrow because we have to will it into existence. Sadly,
Also another breaking news, Alice Japan have put streaming guidelines, and a lot of people were salty because a name drop of a spoiler had put on the website.
oh, on 5, can you link that on the Discord? I haven't seen I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, hold up. The only problem it has name drop of a location that's maybe
Yes,
pivotal of the story. But I don't know which part of the story is it.
that would be a very Atlas thing to do. Like I will never forget. I was looking at the here, let me tag this since you posted. Possible spoilers. Beware. So I was reviewing Lightning Returns, and Square Enix on the outline basically said, "Hey, don't talk about this moment in the review." And they straight up just spoiled it before I had played it. Of like, hey, there's this character, he does a turn.
Oh,
Don't spoil this. I'm like, well, thanks for spoiling me, asshole. Oh my gosh. So here we go. Yeah, classic thing. Don't distribute the
certain
games.
areas.
Don't do any play videos. Don't give us background music. Distribution prohibited.
The red
Past.
one, that's the most important thing. The
I
red
love this. So yeah,
background image.
that basically confirms that this insert name here is probably the final dungeon.
X point of the yeah.
Because like every other Atlas embargo I've ever had, they are always like, "Hey, like with Nocturne, they were like, don't talk about the final dungeon." And with Strikers, I remember the embargo was don't show off the final dungeon at all. Hence why its streaming is prohibited after that one. So that's so funny. And actually, the same thing with Royal. Royal's embargo was you cannot show any footage of the third semester, which is
Third
really stupid.
semester.
So that's really funny. Oh, this is weird. Notes for just video usage in general, and I think I have definitely broken this before on my own videos. Do not play the same video a second time. So every time we're doing our reactions and we just loop the video, we should not be doing that. Number 2, don't post only music. Okay, we don't do that, thankfully. I try a little harder than just that. Number 3, please refrain from publishing sites and services that require compensation for browsing. So you can't pay, like you can't basically pay lock their content, which that's fair. And the rest of these are all just like, hey, don't do anything, don't cheat, don't do whatever. So I think it's a pretty normal thing for it, but that is really weird to specific. Like it's not like they said, hey, don't don't stream after 30 hours. They had to just straight up go, hey. They're like, hey, don't do this level. Because now, guess what? Now that for
Yeah.
everyone who clicked on it, as soon as we get to that level, we're gonna go, oh, okay, this is the end, which sucks.
I rather say they make it like don't stream the final dungeon, the ending, and then credit roll, so that people like, oh, okay, that they will not. Oh, they drop a name. which is kind of sucks.
Let's be real though. They are very lucky this is a Switch exclusive because streaming on a Switch is much harder if you want to do it like because and I don't mean as obviously like there's piracy, there's ways to like put emulation boxes and stuff, but like in terms of like PlayStation and Xbox where there's literally a button that streams to the internet, the Switch does not have that.
Yeah.
So they're at least a little like the biggest thing Atlas in Japan have to worry about is the 30-second screenshots and video button.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming in and breaking the breakingest of news. Did you have anything else you kind of wanted to talk about, or do you want to hand it off to whoever else might be left?
All I want is a demo. I want a demo.
I want
to play it.
Now, to be fair, if that demo ends up coming or gets announced tomorrow, you will be the sole person responsible for it. So we will all have to praise you.
Yeah, it's also weird the fact the only topic they're gonna discuss is Q&A. The only I can see besides the demo, it's DLC, like what the details of DLC.
Which I think talking about DLC would be such a boring move. I think people would not care.
Yeah, it's kind of true. I'm not even thinking of what DLC I'm gonna purchase, but I think I'm not gonna purchase any DLC.
I will say they have some opportunities to do cool DLC, but I also don't want to say them because, like, honestly, I'd rather them just be free optional things you can unlock in the game.
Yeah, like the safety DLC, which is I'm not also getting it. I'm just either switching to casual or normal, but not yet hard because I'm not yet an expert on this
I
type of
wonder
game.
what the reception would be. What do you? This will be my last question I got for you. What would the reception be if they charged for harder DLC? So, like, they had dangerous mode is like $2 DLC.
Oh, that's bad. That is bad. I rather they use when you complete hard mode, you unlock the hardest difficulty than it in being a DLC.
I think that's always really tough of like locking DLCs behind. I mean, locking difficulties
Paywall,
behind.
yeah.
Well, no, locking in behind other playthroughs. I remember DMC5 kind of had a little bit of an issue with that. Of like, if you bought Special Edition, it was like, hey, here's DMC5 Special Edition, but you still got to play through the game on normal to unlock hard, and then you have to play it on hard to unlock extra hard. Like stuff like that. It's kind of like if you have multiple difficulties, just have them all ready at once. Because like I understand, like, hey, you don't want someone to just to jump in on Dante Must Die, but at the same time, it's like, hey, like, let the player understand that and get their butt kicked.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
So, who should our next co-host be? I will let you pick. I don't know if you heard, but I'm basically letting whoever is on basically pick who is the next one up. So, the choice is yours.
I think after Tawami, I think that so-called Edgy. Did he already?
No,
Did they already?
that is not yet. So that's so-called Edgy. Your time to shine. You can unmute. Let the world know why you're so edgy. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
Isn't it on? Oh, yeah. Please, I'm like super sweaty. My wife was just like, "Can I turn the AC on?" And I'm like, "I'm literally sweating buckets." So like, please. Please turn on the AC. It's very hot in here. Even though it's 65 degrees outside, apparently. So how's it going, my man?
I'm doing good. The school year is going well. My last year.
Last year, without doxing yourself too much, is it last year like for high school? Last year for college? Last year for like...
high school.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's doing well.
You're ending on a high note. You're
well.
graduating into the real world with Shin Megami Tensei 5 under your belt. Are you excited?
Oh yeah. I was so excited when they announced the freaking dub. Oh my god.
It was really getting down to the wire, wasn't it? In terms of like, are they gonna do it? Is this gonna be? What are we gonna do?
Yeah, like who's it? Once they revealed it, I went through IDBM real quick.
So for you, did you have one that you really popped off on that you were like very happy about?
Some of these people I don't really know. No, I was like, oh, they voiced this person. Oh, I didn't know that they voiced them or her. Like, oh, it was that type of thing.
Hmm. But yeah, so anything you kind of wanted to talk about? Any questions? Anything on your mind? Anything you wanted to let everyone know about?
Yeah. Okay, what's your expectation on what's your expectations on the dungeons? I think that's one thing no one really talks about when SMT5.
That is a really good question because yeah, they've not
Yeah.
really shown a lot. They've really just been showing the open world segments, and I really worry and wonder if they've been building those open sections so much. Hopefully, they're just hiding them for spoilers, and these dungeons are really big and they're grand. But I'd be worried if it's like a Breath of the Wild situation where they were so focused on building the world, the dungeons kind of suffered in certain areas. So hopefully the dungeons still feel fresh, because I think one of those things that you don't really talk about a lot is like when you are building a larger world, if those inside areas feel lifeless, they stand out even more.
Especially like a game like SMT, it's like, oh, like you need dungeons. I mean,
Well,
like
and
I can
also like
tell, but like
Atlas games are very much known like when their dungeons are good, they are very good. When they feel lazy and half baked, they feel really boring.
or you can be like Kabukicho Prison.
I think Kabukicho Prison is such a weird one of like, I think there was a great idea making that dungeon. I think it fails in terms of its execution just because until you know what to do, it's really easy just to run around that place for like an hour.
Yeah, I mean like I know like one of the I guess it could be dungeons like the diet building when
Oh
you
yeah,
fight Nua when they showed in the Samurai Chan. Yeah, I'm like, hey, we had some dungeons like it was like a schoolyard
I
and
will
there's like
say,
one very
going
red
off of Nocturne, they have a very tough act to follow. Because I really think that diet building is great in Nocturne. I think that's a really good idea of like, here's a puzzle dungeon without being annoying.
area. You see,
I think
yeah, that's the only great dungeon in Nocturne.
Mm-hmm.
Like actually, like makes you go like, oh, like makes you actually think like puzzles and stuff. Uh, yeah. That's one thing I'm always worried about, like the like are they going dungeon or like they're gonna do like an SMT9, like put no dungeon, just explore the town. That's it.
That is so sad that this game is like 2.5 weeks away, and I could 1,000% see it being like, hey, there are no dungeons in 5. It's just the open world. That would be so depressing.
Yeah. I mean, 9 did had dungeons, but like they're just like hallways.
Oh man, I didn't even think
It's
about
like
that. That is so funny.
it's like just like one of those things. Like okay, I did get the dub. Like what about the dungeons? Like how bad? Like how far they're gonna go with like. I know when it's like a school. Like please tell me there's a good dungeon.
I wonder. I
Like
actually am.
dungeon-wise.
I'm kind of hoping they take from something like I saw a lot in Caligula Effect, and especially kind of like coming off of Monarch of like, I would like it if actually the school is not a dungeon. The school should be a hub for sure, but I think that schools make for just such boring design dungeons because of what you've seen.
Yeah, but like this like this like the school in dots and the within the hall where like a scene with like there's like blood on the floor. And, like the school looks like you can still see like outside of the school. It's like I mean I'm hoping this because like there's some parts of these like buildings like a giant building looks like apartment or school like in some parts of the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what show. It was like it was like the first like it was the gameplay trailer. When it saw like I was like but they kept on showing the outside. I'm like please let there be dungeons.
So for you then, the last thing I'll ask then, what's one thing you would not want them to make into a dungeon? Is there anything you'd be like, oh god, don't do this?
Um, uh, like don't do like a Kabukicho prison type of thing. Like it's small, but like it's complicated as hell. Like don't do like which floor to whom. And like my second run of Nocturne, like hey, okay, I got it do pretty easy, but it's still like a pain. Just like go through in between the mirrors just to get the freaking spoon from the collector.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, yeah, because spoons are such good digging devices, especially in the world of Nocturne.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Like,
Well,
helping, like,
do you have any other things, or do you want to pick our next Russian roulette of three people to choose from?
yeah. I mean, like, okay, one thing is sure, I hope and there's a, I don't know, like, like the freaking, like, debating on the, like, the demo, like, do you think Alice is really going to determine a demo? Do you really think they're gonna do a demo for a 5? Like,
I could see there are so few reasons there are so few reasons not to. Like the fact that like Lost Judgment got one. I think the fact that 7 got one, that Judgment 1 got one, like they've done the one for every big title they've done. It just makes way too much sense, and we know there's a demo build out there. Amazon played it in TGS. The E3 build was shown at TGS and stuff for it. So like we know there is a demo build that shows that opening desert area with very little story. So like I think it would be such a good opportunity to get that game out there, not spoil it, and get a lot of like pressure. Because like let's look at all the goodwill Dragon Quest XI did. When Dragon Quest XI
yeah,
had its
I was
demo.
thinking of, like, yeah, it was considered like the longest demo out there on the Switch. I'm like, hey, they could probably do that. Like, give you like, was it like, what? How many hours did it give you?
Dragon
Like,
Quest
20 hours?
Dragon Quest XI's demo was literally 11 hours.
Oh, 11 hours. Okay, that was like 20 hours.
Obviously, you probably could have gotten more of it, but I at least remember it was like the first 10 hours of story, I think.
Yeah. Well, all right, but I gotta get back to basic. Get ready for school.
All right,
So,
man. Well,
yeah,
have a good one. You get to choose between Ben, Blinky, Ren, and Jack Bro King.
I'm gonna choose the King of Jack Bros.
Solid choice. Have a good night, man. Thanks for popping in.
All right, later. Bye.
All right, making your now not Twitter space debut, the King of Jack and Bros off.
Yes.
So King of Jack Bros, Demi Crow, man of triple cheeking Samus. So confirm now you are a Zero Suit lover, not Armor Samus lover.
Agree to disagree.
Okay, I appreciate it. So what is your question? What is your thing you wanted to tell everyone about? What is your topic? What's on your mind?
What was I gonna say? It's nice. So going back to the demo and all that stuff. So actually a pretty funny story. So at TGS, when they were doing this thing, when they were talking about merch, the translator actually said Atlas eShop instead of D Shop, from at least what I heard.
No, yeah, you're correct. Yeah, they were doing the literal kind of translation for it on the fly. Yeah, it was eShop and not D Shop.
Also, the last few days have been crazy, but did the translators choose not to like translate a part in TGS?
I know a lot of stuff got skipped in terms of like in terms of content, but there was nothing like from the Japanese transcript that I saw that was actually like anything prevalent, basically. So they, for the most part, the demo was very fluffy in terms of like, hey, we're checking out the game. Look at the demons. Let's look up the skirts. Blah blah blah. But yeah, nothing would have been kind of left out for it. Like I think that was a good example of like we didn't really need that demo. Like even me personally, like I skimmed that demo. I didn't even watch the whole thing just because it was like, that's just like raw gameplay. I don't have a lot of interest in watching someone else play something I'm going to be playing in a month.
Yeah, we also basically saw that like 2 days before, so.
True. Yeah, that was really weird to like give it to Amazon and then, but I mean that more so goes into a problem of like TGS was like, what was the point of you this year, TGS? Like outside of showing me Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires, like why were you here?
Yeah. Also, since you're a Monkey Ball person, is there going to be another Monkey Ball game after Banana Mania?
I have been thinking about that a lot because, interestingly enough, a lot of people might not remember this. When Banana Blitz HD came out, they had a poll that says, do you want a remake of 1 and 2 plus DX, a remake of Monkey Ball, let's see, what would it have been? 3D, Vita, or a brand new Monkey Ball, and it was a tie. The tie won, I think, a little more to 1, 2, and DX, which is why we have Banana Mania, or a new one. And they put so much effort into Banana Mania in a because they straight up it's a new physics engine and everything. It's not like they just ported the GameCube game. So I would hope they do a new one. My dream is this, because I'm a madman and I know this will never happen. They announce at the Game Awards this year, because at that point the Morgana DLC will be out. The Monster Rancher one just came out today. Hello Kitty was like 2 weeks ago, and Morgana's out in like 2 weeks. I want them to do this. Announce at TGS DLC for Banana Mania, and it adds the entire campaign of Banana Splits from the Vita. Because, like, 3D does not need to be remade. Like, nobody likes 3D. And Banana Splits actually doesn't have that many levels, and I think would be really easy to port.
Yeah, since the Switch itself, well, the Joy-Cons at least, have the gyro, and the Vita also had gyro built in, I want to see... It wouldn't be that hard to port, unless, Sega.
Well, actually, the best part is people always forget about this, but Banana Split on Vita actually does have normal controls on top of motion.
Yeah, I tried those. I didn't like them.
I will say, I was at least glad to find out that PS4 and PS5 also have motion controls, and they are pretty solid.
All right. And my final question is: does the SMT5 Steelbook have a slipcover?
No, confirm. Well, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me brack it up. The collector's edition will not have a slipcover. The standard edition will have a retail cover, like the Catherine situation.
Oh my god, the Lord!
So just sneak into GameStop, steal the slipcover, and leave them like a $5 bill or something.
I ordered the normal edition. I just wanted to look good on my shelf and not be a freaking Persona 5 Striker situation.
Okay, so yeah, if you and I mean, to be fair, at least the name will be on the spine for all those people who care about like stuff like that. But yeah, so if you're getting a standard retail Steelbook edition, that will have a slipcover. Do not worry.
Okay, I am not worried anymore.
All right, man. Who is next? You got Ben, Blinky, and Ren. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. I'll choose Ren.
All right, Crossy, Ren. Your time to shine. Favorite Final Fantasy IX character? Go.
What's a Final Fantasy IX?
Great answer. All right, Ren. Thank you so much for waiting so long. How are you doing tonight?
I'm fine, just chilling, honestly.
I want you all to know this. I told my wife, no way in hell this goes over 2 hours. There's no news. I've got nothing going on. I've got Demon Slayer out the wazoo to be playing. And then here we go, Demo Gate. All the way out here now. So I guess might as well start this off because everyone wants to talk about it. Crossrun, are you team demo or team no demo?
Team demo, of course.
Thank you. I appreciate the honesty and you're on the right side of history.
Nice.
So what was on your mind? Did you have a question? What did you want to talk about? Hopefully I didn't keep you waiting so long you forgot what you wanted to ask.
Nah, I probably did, but since this is in Danganronpa, I can't talk about that. But
okay. Then let me make a Danganronpa tangent while you prepare. I saw someone post this. I think it might have been Nintendo Life. It might have even been Zeron for Nintendo Life. So everyone, please let whoever made this video on Nintendo Life know. The title of the video was "Finally Despair on the Go. Danganronpa can be played anywhere." I was like, motherfucker! I could play the entire series, including Ultra Despair Girls, on the go already.
I knew it was a Vita game before it was a PS4 game.
What an absolutely... obviously, I get it. If you're a Nintendo Switch owner, most of you have no idea what a Vita is. But, that video title absolutely twisted my nippies, and not in a good way. Oh my gosh. But please, that was my tangent I had to go on.
No, that's fair. Honestly, speaking of SMT5, I think SMT5, depending if I get the easy mode thing, because I guess I'm a fresh SMT fan, kind of. I mainly played Persona 5 through 2. That's the order I played it in. And recently got into SMT with Devil Survivor Overclock.
Good choice. That is a great game.
which is my favorite because I don't know, the story's cool.
Let me just tell
And
you, everything you like about 1 just gets better with 2. I absolutely adore Record Breaker. I think it is such a great game.
well, with Record Breaker, me and my friends talk like a lot, and every time we bring up Record Breaker, like, oh yeah, is that Evangelion? Because apparently that's a thing.
I mean, honestly, the similarities in the monsters are definitely there. It's thankfully not as melodramatic and serious.
But yeah, I do want to get Record Breaker eventually. Like, I just don't have the money. Well, next year, I plan to hopefully get a first job, and then that time I'll be able to buy the 3DS Mega 10 games because I do want to get more into SMT.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a new series. I like JRPGs and something, and so I was after beating DMC5. I was like, well, I need a new JRPG to play, and so
Now,
thankfully,
now I gotta
my
ask you because you're actually you brought up difficulty and it has me wondering something. You played P5. What difficulty did you play P5 on?
okay, so I really like Persona 5. When I played Vanilla, I played easy.
Mm-hmm.
When I played Royal, I played normal because I didn't know how hard it was going to be. Came turned out to be really easy. So every subsequent playthrough, I played on Merciless. But since Persona 5 is like really easy, Royal is really easy to break. It's like no difficulty. But Persona 4 is a different beast.
I will say this: I have not seen anything that makes me think 5 is going to be hard, even by SMT standards. So at least take comfort in this. Like, if you play it on normal, you can switch it to easy at any time, whereas you can never raise it after you go to easy. So I'd at least say, like, give it a shot. Because, like, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe they, like, decided, hey, we want to go back to being hard. But, like, going off of even stuff like Nocturne HD's normal and Tokyo Mirage Sessions normal, it feels challenging, but it doesn't necessarily feel too hard.
Which game are you referring to?
With 5, I'm thinking,
Okay.
like, I can understand wanting to just kind of go in and, like, not worry about it for it, but, like, I think, especially for, like, being, like, your first, like, 3D SMT like that, I think it at least kind of, like, dip your toe into, like, see what it's like. If it's too hot, it's too hot. I definitely get it.
Well, I did play Nocturne HD. I played on Merciful after getting bullied by my friends for playing for it. But I was like, well, I did play the. See, my thing with SMT, I own not Doubles, Digital Double Saga and Vanilla PS2 Nocturne. I haven't finished Doubles. The guy keeps saying Survivor. Uh, Digital Double Saga. I didn't finish original Nocturne because I was like, well, this game isn't really that fun. I played HD on Merciless, and I enjoyed it, and I have like 100 hours in HD. So with 5, I'm like, well, I hope it's probably going to be like Persona 4 levels of difficulty. I'm thinking Persona 4 was like just not extremely hard, but a little kick compared to Persona 5. That's why I'm thinking SPT 5 is going to be. And when they announced the DLC thing, I was like, well, cool. I have a safety net. But I mean, I would want a little challenge, but not too hard.
I get that for sure. I'll be curious on what that difficulty conversation is like when 5 is out, because I was even listening to the Easy Allies podcast recently, and I thought it was interesting of, like, they were telling, because a lot of them have played Persona 5 and even 3 and 4, but none of them have really dived into SMT besides Ben. And what I thought was so interesting was the way that a lot of them described it immediately was, oh, it's Persona but hard. And I'm like, I've never thought of it like that. That's so interesting. So I wonder if that will still kind of overtake the conversation. But that's a really really great point. Any other thing on your mind, or did you want to pass it to? We now have 3 B words to pass it to: Ben, Big A, and Blinky.
Well, nothing else other than go play Decadence. Hang around with Decadence when it comes out.
Oh, I'm sorry. We need to actually get your hot take opinion on this. I don't care because I'm not playing it because I already have it on the Superior Trophy platform. Cross Rinrin, give us your hot takes on this. I think 3-week-old news. What the heck is up with those microtransactions?
Okay, well, since you said news, you obviously haven't heard the recent news, so let me inform you.
Please.
Recently, they announced they've redone the microtransaction. So
They saw the
basically-
reaction and went, "Oh shit, we got to remove these."
Well, I guess when it first got announced, they're saying it's microtransaction. Now it's It's like, you know how DMC5 has you can buy red orbs
Yeah.
and all that stuff. It's basically that for the cards. They're saying you can just buy like it's $1 to buy whatever card you want. I'm guessing it's gonna probably be like a low rated card, but you can buy what card you want like directly with like $1 or something. But when they first announced microtransaction, someone who's like really into Danganronpa, was like, well, cool. Danganronpa, just I guess I'm more of a simple-minded person. I'm like, well, I just want the thing I want. Like, I have the game. I'm gonna spend time with it because I really like this.
So if
I didn't have
if
a
you
problem.
remember, this bonus game is like a giveaway in Decadence.
Mm-hmm.
I hope people are aware that this is 1,000% going to happen. Within 3 months into 2022, that beach game will be released as a free game on the eShop, Steam, and PS4, and that will just be a Dangan gotcha. 1,000%. I will gladly be wrong. My guess is that it is just a gotcha, like Danganronpa fan service game that they can throw on mobile, Switch, PC, and whatever.
Well, I've heard that it does have like a story, but not like a story.
It will be a story that has also zero voice acting and is only redeeming quality I've seen by fans. It has new art.
Yeah, it's a fan service game. At the end of the day, it's just a fan service game. I don't think people should put too much on it. It's just a fan service game. It's the mini game, but better and more scenes. Like, I think the game is just gonna be a JRPG, but you get cool beach scenes with your waifus. Yay!
And hey, it's the only Ultra Despair Girls anything in that entire package. So at least there's that.
Yeah, which I really wish they put Despair Girls on Switch because that is my favorite DR game.
It will probably happen like later on, but like I understand that like being separate from it because it is such a different thing being a 3D model, totally different engine and everything. But yeah, that's always one of those things of like, just everybody out there, here's your daily reminder: don't sleep on Ultra Despair Girls. Amazing game, amazing story, super. By the way, nightmarishly dark story, and
yeah, I think that's probably a reason why it's not on Switch. Is like the story is like.
Oh, no way. No way at all. Like it nothing to do with the content. It's like Nintendo will let literally anything on the eShop. They do not care.
Oh yeah.
But thank you for starting and ending this with Danganronpa. I feel even better now. So,
Yep.
So yes, Renren, the floor is yours. Who was your predecessor? And thank you again so much for waiting and coming on, man.
Okay, well we'll go with Ben02. You can have the floor now.
Ben02, you've got my O2. Save the day. Favorite Final Fantasy IX character. Let me hear it. And whenever you're ready, Ben. I know there's a lot of characters. Take your time. No pressure. The floor is yours. A whopping 25 people just dying to hear old sexy Ben's voice. In 3, 2, 1. Alright, well, next up, Big A. No pressure. Who's the best Final Fantasy IX character?
Zidane.
Alright, and he even said it correct. But I also would have I would have also accepted Zidane, because Zidane also makes me laugh.
Nice.
So
Awesome
Big A,
game.
how's it going, man?
Oh, good, dude. I have a big physics test tomorrow, but I'm staying up, studying, trooping, and listening to this podcast, which is obviously number one priority.
I feel like, would listening to something like this be good for working on something, or like more distracting?
No, not at all. Not good at all. I should be doing practice.
Well,
I'm taking the sacrifice though.
clearly, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Listening to the show is its own sacrifice in many ways. So I appreciate you at least waiting and sacrificing your night. So I gotta ask you. So then, did you have a question? What did you want to throw into the ether of this podcast?
I have a few questions. What do you think of the map design? Because I remember in the TGS thing, they pulled up the map a couple times, and in that first area at least, it looked like really linear. If you saw it, it looked like a big ass like curve with not really many branching pathways.
No,
just really
I
straight.
know what you're talking about. I chalk a lot of that up to I think that open desert area is just, I hope and pray, the most boring linear ass map in the entire thing, because it is like, hey, you don't want them to get lost. It's their first couple of areas. There's not a lot of things to really kind of discover outside of like what you're looking for and things like that. So hopefully it works all good and stuff. I haven't, honestly, kind of going back to the dungeon design talk for it, I have faith in them because like they've got to know like what an absolute tremendous opportunity this is in terms of like what they have with the new engine and everything. So I think obviously keep that basic area, just make a tutorial island. Like, we're not looking for anything special, but then really like get weird with it, because like there's been like if I end playing SMT5 and I think, yep, the best Atlas 3D dungeons I've played in the last decade are Tokyo Mirage Sessions, that might be a depressing sentence.
Nice. And another one. I know, like, in the past we've been throwing around like the 214 demon number, but apparently that's actually not the number of demons. That's how many demon videos there are. So how many like demons do you think there are in the final game, like total number?
I was talking to a friend about this who actually thought they were a little disappointed in the number of demons that are coming to this game. I was amazed we got anything over 150 because of the new engine. Now that we've seen how many are just copy and paste, like at the end of the day, I think we'll be lucky to be over 30 new demons. So I like the number. I am also realistic. I'm gonna say we will be lucky to get over 230. I think if we're even close to 250, that's just graving on top. Like anything else is just like expect. Because, yeah, like, when we were coming off of E3, we were like, bam, 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 new demons, look at this art, there's over 200 demons, it's a fucking gangbang of demons, there's demon dick everywhere, man, this game's great. And now, as we've been ranking more of them and looking at more of them, be like, okay, this is, you literally just pressed Control-C and then Control-V on Unreal Engine 4, didn't you? Which, like, hey, that's fine, a lot of these demons look good, but, like, there are still undoubtedly a lot of PS2 tier ass PS2 demons.
Yeah, that's right. I think they did a lot of work with a lot of the new ones, because even though these models are from Persona 5 and other stuff, I think a lot of the walking and attacking animations are new for this game. It seems like
New, but man, I feel like then it's like a Harvey Dent style Two-Face coin. Every animation is either whoa, that's really good, or whoa, that's really bad. Like it's so weird. Of like the level of quality on the demons is so all over the place. So like, I get it. Like having demons actually in the world interacting is such a hard thing to like make it look natural when there are that many. But like thankfully, I would say at least through all the demons I've seen, there are more good than painfully bad. But it is definitely, like, you will see like the first day when this game comes out for everyone, you will see video like compilations of some of the fucking ugly, dumb, like horse demons walking around the world with the sad Jurassic Park harmonica, just go, because it'll just look really dumb.
nice. I'm just really excited about this game because the graphics are freakishly good in my opinion.
It's
for Nintendo
it's like a catfish, but you're not sure until the last second of the date. It's like, where's the catch here? Because like everything about the graphics, I could not agree more. It's like, this looks great. It actually seems to be running at a really solid 30. I'm like, what is the catch here? And I hope there's no catch. I hope it's just great, and I hope that all the delays and them basically ripping their hair outs working with Unreal Engine 4 finally pay off. Because honestly, I think the best compliment you can give this game visually, and I'm curious what you think about this, is like, I think this game is going to have a kick-ass PC port. Like, you know how like people are now looking at Monster Hunter Rise, being like, "Oh my god, this ran great on Switch," and now that the PC demos are like, "Oh, dude, whoa, this is what it really looked like." Like, it's not like people are retrospectively being like, "Oh wow, it looks really shitty on Switch." It's like it's so technically impressive on Switch that you just want to see it look even better on other platforms.
I don't know, man. It's just crazy. Like I don't really own a gaming PC, so I don't really think of things that way. Just like as a Switch owner right now, like I just grow more and more impressed every day, like watching the videos. Like, cause they'd have like the protagonist and like 5 other demon models on the screen at the same time with loading like all these like super detailed environments and stuff. It just blows me away every time.
I also think there's not enough people who talk about this. Of like, it is a very good looking game because of its art style and presentation. Like, they really translated that art very, very well. Like, there are a lot of games that have good art but do not look good. You know?
Yeah, that's right. But I think it's so perfect. It's insane. I would it be fair to say that this is the most ambitious Atlas game ever, in your opinion?
I would actually one up that. I think I've even said this before. This is the most technically ambitious Unreal 4 game on the entire Nintendo Switch. This is the most ambitious Unreal 4 Switch exclusive I have ever seen. By a land.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Like, there's like nothing even close to it. Like Dragon Quest maybe, but that's also like a PS4 game.
Yeah, Dragon Quest, if it was original, I would easily give it to more, but because that was them basically just being like, okay, how much can we cut to port this? Like, that was kind of more of a different thing there. Whereas, like, I think, like, looking at ports, yeah, Dragon Quest definitely stands out on top, but, like, even looking at newer stuff like Dying Light that came out on Switch, I think Dying Light looks awesome. But it is also just a downport of a game that came out like 5 years ago. So yeah, like, it is new, it is exclusive, and it's on this untested engine by this developer for the first time, and it looks this good. Yeah, I'm definitely with you. Of like, it is, and honestly for me, I think it is also the best looking Nintendo game in general for this year. I think this looks better than Dread. I think this looks better than, well, I was gonna say Pokemon, but I mean, like, I'm not even like dogging on Pokemon, but like, I would love someone who's like, no, dude, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond looks way better than SMT5. Maybe there's someone out there like that, but I'm not that person.
Nice, dude. I'm just so glad it lined up like this way, because obviously this wouldn't have happened if like Nintendo wasn't like basically paying for the whole game. And I think it's really awesome that it happened with Atlas, and they got it with an SMT game. Like, so crazy.
Now we just have to pray and hope that everyone and their mom buys this, so that way we have a sequel. Because I will be so sad if, after all this work on Unreal 4, they're just like, we're going to go back to the Persona engine for the next one. I'm like, man, I really would like them to keep like working with this engine. I think that'd be really, really cool.
Yeah, that's the sad truth. Once this comes out, we're going to have to restart like the 9-10 year wait for SMT6 whenever they decide to come out with that.
I would also be very nervous if I was the... P16, probably not. I would not be surprised if P6 is an Unreal game. Jesus, at this point, I mean, at that point, why not just use everything you've learned about Unreal and just make it on Unreal 5, just because they transfer over so well. Really, really weird Unreal tangent I found out. The developer of Caligula Overdose and Caligula 2 did a Unreal Engine 5 demo recently. They had like a tech demo for Unreal Engine 5. I was like, this game looks amazing. I mean, it was a tech demo, obviously, but I thought it was so funny. Of like, my biggest complaint with Caligula is like, its graphics look pretty underwhelming for an Unreal 4 game, even on PlayStation 5, but it was just so funny. Of like, they had this like literally photorealistic Unreal 5 demo come out pretty much the exact same day. It was like, wow, this is just really shows what this engine like is just absolutely bonkers. But another thing I wanted to say,
like 5 versus 4.
Oh yeah, just because like the level of detail is just not even comparable in terms of like how drastically different it is. But the thing I wanted to point out, I would be quivering in my boots unless Project Refantasy has a really bitchin' art style. Unless that game has an insane art style, because that game is being made on the Persona 5 engine, I would be absolutely terrified about the reception of that game. Visually.
But yeah, about what happened to that game? Like, which team at Atlas is developing that?
That's Studio Zero, so the original P5 and the original Catherine team.
And is anyone doing Persona 6 right now?
Persona 6 is the Golden and Royal team.
So they basically got the people who did re-releases to make a new game for themselves.
True, but I think with the track record that especially they earned with the new content they made in Royal, I think that at least puts them in a better... Because, like, definitely, when you say it on paper like that, oh, it's the B team who does ports is doing the new one, I should be worried. Whereas, like, no, like, honestly, I kind of like the writing in Royal more than the base game of 5, so, like, I'm kind of glad, like, they've parted ways.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing, dude. It sounds a really interesting idea to do for the next game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, give fresh blood, please. Like, these people have been making Persona games forever. Like, get some new people in there.
Yeah, awesome. What else? Oh, I remember there was this one like SMT5 interview back in like 2017, like a long ass time ago, where they talked about how the game was sort of going to sympathize with the current times and talk about themes about like unemployment and nuclear weapons. Do you remember that interview? And what do you think about it? Like now, after what we've all seen.
I remember that. I think for whatever reason, and this might just be a me thing, I always feel like the things that inspire a lot of Atlas games in terms of themes, sadly, very few and far between actually make it in there outside of just kind of sprinklings of it. Like, you even look at something going all the way back to Persona 5. Like, what even amalgamation of slavery is left in that final game from that original tease? Like, outside of, like, the jail motif, like, there's basically nothing. And, like, going into it, I would like the actual discussion of war to feel like it matters a little bit more and like have some gravitas to the story. I don't think we're gonna get that with 5 just because like they've not really been like too overly like serious about it. And another one of the ways of why I think that is like when you're having the destroy Tokyo still existing at the same time as normal Tokyo, it's a lot easier to just be like, well, that's their world. We don't really need to worry about what got them in that situation. But I would like them to double down a little more. I would like to get into darker stories because this is a darker world, but like there's always that difference between it's dark in a realistic setting and it's dark in a mythological setting. Like that's why I love something like Strange Journey. Like Strange Journey is really fucked up sci-fi horror that I could see happening. SMT5 could clearly never happen.
Yeah. I don't know. That's like a whole other can of worms. Thinking like, since they've revealed almost nothing of the story, even though they've shown off so much stuff in like trailers, it's like how are they gonna successfully pull off like the whole dichotomy between the normal Tokyo where you're living in with your like the Bethel people in school and switching back and forth between Dot, because that seems like a really like weird concept for a mainline
I
SMT
will
game.
say, if it was a normal SMT game, and if I didn't see the last month of info, I would also be a little bit more nervous. I think the two things that made me optimistic about the storytelling is that we are thankfully going back to the real world. I think it has always been such a stupid crutch to just be like, well, it's the apocalypse. Everyone's dead. No characters are alive anymore except these 5 weirdos who I see for maybe 10 minutes. I think it's great that you can bounce back and forth in terms of, like, it'll still keep that human element that will make the story a lot more interesting. And B, I did not care at all about who might be the possible villain of, like, showing Prime Minister, cool, breed me daddy, whatever. Like, the whole thing about it is interesting until you are like, okay, one big bad guy is not fun. Having a council of mythological region demon councils and stuff like that, that got me excited. Like, seeing the, like, European, Egyptian, Asian, like, all of these, like, sections kind of coming together, I thought, like, that, now that's really, really interesting. Like, so that group made me a lot more excited about the story.
Dude, don't even get me started. That last news thing was so, like, crazy to me. I mean, I don't know. It's just seeing all those demons together. It kind of showed me like how much more expansive the story of SMT5 is going to be, like compared to what I thought it was back at the E3 thing. And like when they showed off that Vasuki was like the Indian representation, I started shitting myself because I'm like, oh, can we actually go to like Egypt and Greece?
I at least hope that like in terms of setting, we get dips into those like regions, because I would be very disappointed like if you're tying up like these mythologies and literally naming them but not like properly showing it and executing it. So yeah, I really, really hope like for the love of God, give me an Egyptian temple dungeon, please.
Yeah, I think this is just an awesome opportunity for Atlas to like get weird with this series, because I think the way I see it, like SMT4, that was like the big love letter to the series, like the kind of like the Sonic Mania of the SMT series, where they like pull back all the tropes from the old games. I think SMT5 like the time to shine, where they can like bring in all the new ideas, which like we've talked about, switching back and forth between Tokyo and the apocalypse and all the stuff they're doing with like the characters.
No, for sure. Well, Jesus, I cannot believe we're actually almost at the 3-hour mark. Thank you so much for waiting and being, yeah, man, I appreciate your passion. I feel like one of the best part I love always talking about everyone on here is just like, it is very rare to find someone who is not as passionate as each of us are for it. So it's always nice talking to you, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, bro.
All right, Ben, your time to shine. I can't give you the same question a third time, so we're going to fix it by saying the best part of Final Fantasy X is what?
Ha 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 ha.
I also would have accepted the music, but that is a pretty good bet. Ben, thank you so much for waiting and being my Danganronpa fact checker. How are you doing tonight?
All good. Honestly, I'm just so happy Danganronpa's back on an OLED. You know,
That's true.
So
That is, oh my god! If I see people tweeting, they're like, "Oh man, Danganronpa looks beautiful on an OLED. You can't even imagine what this looks like portably on an OLED device."
Yeah. On it, though, I was really surprised that they used the anniversary editions, which are the mobile ports for Danganronpa for Decadence, which had me like, because the font's different.
Yeah, I'm actually not a fan of the mobile ports. I think I'll be like the Star Wars D Special Edition people. Like, you know what? I like my compressed audio. Actually, I'll keep the Vita version. I'm good.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just like really happy that we can get more fans. Though right now, 2Q Games, they're working on a different project where they're gonna have a mobile game and a new anime at the same time, and they're gonna be like two different stories of one like kind of universe. It's really weird.
I love the people who work at 2Q Games. I think the fact that literally 5 people bought World's End Club does not bode well, and no one is saying like, hey, check this out, it was the next best thing. Like, I think saying a game by the guy who did Zero Escape and Danganronpa should make it sell like hotcakes, and I wonder why no one cares about World's End Club. And I hope it's just a fluke. Hopefully their next game, like, everyone loves it and checks it out. I wonder if it was the art style maybe being too kiddie, but I was just so disappointed that, like, it had 2 big chances to have a release and just seemed to totally flop in the entire world.
For World's End Club, they through the Apple Arcade exclusively. Like, I think like 70% of the game, like not the full thing. So I tried it out, and I was pretty disappointed because when they first announced the game, I think it was like a death game for kids by kids. When you played it, it's like a C-rated game, like the most like. They're in the apocalypse, and it feels like I'm watching Sesame Street. That's how I felt while playing that game. And that's why
I hope there's like someone out there like listening to us and seething in iron and anger, and be like, "Oh, I can't believe World's End Club is the Citizen Kane of games. I can't believe this tyrant and you bad people."
Yeah, though right after World's End, we had an anime, but that was called Akudama Drive, and that actually was pretty popular with the people. I was screaming to all my friends to watch it, and they did, and they loved it. I'm very happy that anime was pretty successful.
Nice. Yeah, the joys, at least, of being a multimedia company, unless you're Mighty Number 9 or Keiji Inafune, is that thankfully when one fucks up, it doesn't mean that like everything's messed up.
Yup. That's why I'm kind of excited to see the new game that they're coming out with. Though I think the game is going to be JP only, but I'll for sure be checking out the anime that's going to come out.
Do not be so like naysay though. I will say I forget the name of it. I was just trying to look it up, but they did the Zero Escape guy at least did a live action adventure game.
Oh. Yeah, it was the one. I think it was on Switch, PS4, and Steam, right?
Yes, I think it's even on PS5 now. Like it was originally like on smart devices and PC, and then finally came to consoles. Like the fact that came out officially in English, I think then anything they work on can come out.
Yeah, I think it was like Death March or something. I'm not sure what the name was, but I remember seeing it. It looked cool, but I did not have the money at the time. Sadly.
That was one where I'm like, especially because I love so much full motion video, and I actually really liked the cast they got. I was like, as soon as this gets a physical release, which I know it will probably eventually, whether it be like a limited run or something, like, I will buy that in a heartbeat. But I'm like, when it's like a digital thing and I have a bajillion other things in the backlog, like, it's like, yeah, you can go on the back burner. Like, I know you're not going anywhere, and enough people played it and seemed to like it. Like, I heard more people talk about that game than I did World's End Club, which is sad.
Oh, it's called Death Come True. There we go.
Thank you so much. All right, well, I have to try and keep this under 3 hours so I don't get absolutely castrated. So, any other final last things before we let you go, man?
For SMT 5, I'm kind of worried about the difficulty because I found 4 to be really after like the first 2 dungeons. So I'm just like really hoping 5 has like a difficulty setting for like newcomers and veterans, because I just found 4 like a bit too easy after a bit.
Yeah, I think difficulty has never been the series' problem. It's been balancing it correctly, and that's why I'm like sad that the last time they've done it well, in my opinion, was not even a game they made. Like, I think Strikers was the last time I went, yep, normal felt challenging without being too much or too little. So
yes,
hopefully they finally write that, because I'm very sick of the thing being either it's too hard or it's too easy. We very rarely ever get it's just right.
Like with the demons summoning or like fusing, I just did not really like how you could put in which abilities you wanted, because that easily just broke the game in half right there, or at least to me it did.
Oh, I mean, that's definitely still going to be there, just because that's one of those quality of life things. Like, even with Nocturne, when they tried to take it, like, when they tried to not add it in, they had to end up adding it in. So, it's still going to be there, but I think it's always about, like, limiting your options without making it feel too randomized or too unfair.
Yeah.
Well, man, thank you so much for waiting. I was glad we were able to get you back on.
Thank you very much. Though very disappointed, collector's edition doesn't get a slipcase. I thought we were.
No, your collector's edition box that will have a slipcase. If that makes you feel any better.
That makes me feel 100 times better now. The art will be preserved.
That's true. Could be kept in our hermetically sealed chambers. Well, I've got 2 people left. We're gonna talk to Blinky first, and then Megidomon, because it is almost midnight over here, and I was like, I'll have time. I got time for this. This is going to be like a 2-hour show. We're at like 2 hours and 45 minutes. So, Blinky, what's on your mind? Blinky is thinking hard about the world of Eorzea. Final Fantasy XIV is just really burning in the back of Blinky's brain, thinking about raiding those dungeons, maybe setting
probably up. The most recent MMO I've played is Dungeons and Dragons Online, so I'm not nearly that.
You know what? That's okay, because I was just reminded recently of Lord of the Rings Online, which made me feel very old.
Same developers.
I know, that's why I thought about it. I was like, hey, you know what? Lord of the Rings Online, Dungeons and Dragons Online, both equally... Well, to be fair, at least Lord of the Rings Online is still ongoing. It probably has like 60 people playing it, but at least they are still active.
I mean, DDO's still going too. They just released an expansion.
Oh my god. What the life of like B-tier MMOs I find so fascinating. I'll never forget, I met someone once. It was a really nice lady. Did not count herself as a gamer. She only played EverQuest 2. Is the only game she had ever played and will ever play. And I was like, that's a very specific dedication.
That's something I noticed. Just one of the things that I liked about playing DDO is that the player base is a little bit older. It's a lot of like married people with kids and families. And
You're not gonna get young kids. They're not gonna leave RuneScape to try Dungeons and Dragons Online.
Yeah. So the reason I wanted to hop in is a few people back we were talking about dungeons in 5, and I thought the only inkling of some sort of dungeon mechanic that I think we've seen is there's like a 1.5 second clip that's shown up in a couple of the trailers of him getting like pushed by an air vent across a gap.
Oh yeah, you're correct.
Which
Yeah.
makes me think of some sort of like, vent puzzle or something like that in a dungeon, which is exciting to me because, like you mentioned, Tokyo Mirage Sessions dungeons, and I think Nocturne's dungeons each had interesting gimmicks too. Other than that, most Atlas dungeons are actually kind of,
Yeah, the fact that
Not
Persona 5 went through the trouble of adding a grappling gun and their dungeon design was still flat as all hell was a testament to almost the stubbornness of that. Like those dungeons are graphically very interesting to look at, but in terms of actually traversing them, an absolute snore.
yeah, exactly. And so it can't be worse than 4, right? Where we just go into like 12 abandoned malls. Like that to me, that's the nadir of the series dungeon design.
So you say you would rather take 3 over 4?
Oh yeah, SMT3. Those dungeons were great. Like
Oh, I'm sorry. My brain was going through. No, I'm sorry. I get what you mean now. I was thinking you were describing Persona 4's like very like flat but themed dungeons as opposed to 3. But no, I forgot. Yeah.
I mean, 4 and 3 were identical. The difference is 4 had a new skin on each dungeon.
Yep.
But other than that, it was the same. I at least 3 was honest. Like, yeah, we're going back to Tartarus. Just another 10 floors. Let's go.
SMT4 gets a pass, I think, only because it was an early 3D attempt on a 3DS. I think if it had released on any other platform in any time after 2014, it would have been like, ooh, these do not age well.
Yeah, I mean, 4 felt like they weren't even trying to make dungeons. Like, when you were talking about an SMT game with no dungeons, I feel like that's 4. I mean, you go into the park in Shinjuku that's literally just a circular staircase.
Yeah, it's
like just not great.
It's not my masterpiece. I'll at least say this: I appreciated them at least. I think at least I don't think like one's better than the other. I was at least glad when they finally did get around to Apocalypse, that it at least felt like they were trying to get better, but they were definitely limited and constrained by that engine.
Yeah, and like you mentioned it before, and I mentioned it. Tokyo Mirage Session has great dungeons, and that's more recent than either, and is a home console game, which to me tells me like, hey, this team can do really great stuff with the home console.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked, each of those. TMS and SMT3 are some of my favorites just because each dungeon kind of felt different, unique, had a gimmick. In SMT3, sometimes it was just, the gimmick here is that there are slides, but hey, it was something. It was something to differentiate each dungeon from each other. And I felt like that's an important experience.
Yeah, I think when they've excelled... It's funny, it's like, they've definitely not been even with their dungeon execution, but I think when Atlas is doing them very well, it always feels like they're excelling upon everything they've done before. But then at the same time, when they do stumble, it almost is more, like, noticeable. Like, because, like, I came off of Tokyo Mirage Sessions to play Persona 5, and I'm like, how does Persona 5 look better but have worse designed dungeons?
Right.
So yeah,
in answer to your other questions earlier, by the way, Zero Suit Garnet.
Zero Suit Garnet. Oh, thank you. I appreciate. I forgot my own question. This has been like, I think I can't imagine like if this was just like my full-time job. I just had to just chat for like streaming for 24 hours of my stream of consciousness would just slowly melt and fade away. So I'll have one last question for you, and then we'll go to Megadomon. So hopefully I don't get stabbed in the back. Blinky, big question. Are you team Demogate or no Demogate?
Definitely demo.
I appreciate it. I'm so glad none of us here are realistic at all. We are all living our life in the fantasy zone, and it's the best life.
I mean, like, and by the way, in an ideal world, it's that Dragon Quest 11 demo.
Where the save transfers?
Yeah.
Ooh, that now we're getting greedy. We're putting the cheese on the fries. We're not even sure we're getting any, but we're getting ready for the toffee. The poutine of demos.
Reach for the stars every time.
Oh, man. They could do it. They could. I'm believing. We're willing it into existence. Blinky, thank you so much for waiting so long. It was a pleasure having you on, man.
Mm-hmm. Have a good evening.
All right, Megadomon, you're going to wrap us up by telling me your favorite Digimon series. Out of the shows, which Digimon has the best series?
I'm gonna be totally honest. I haven't played a Digimon game.
That's okay. That means your default answer is Digimon Cyber Sleuth, the first one. But Hacker's Memory is pretty solid too.
Wasn't that the one that Maka said that Soul Hackers, or how do I say it, like where Cyber Sleuth is like Soul Hackers?
Yes, a lot of similarities, especially with the virtual, the very cheesy chat room virtual world analogies and stuff.
I agree with him totally. I mean, based on what he showed, because he was showing fades of Cyber Sleuth and Soul Hackers like over each other, and I was like, yeah, I could see the resemblance.
I need to like actually put some more time into it and actually kind of like talk about it because I feel like Digimon never gets enough love, but those games definitely get sold too quickly as it's this with Digimon. I think that series does actually quite a lot good on its own, on top of having really good monster mechanics, really good music, and disgustingly good art by I'm forgetting their name, but the same artist who did Durarara and Devil Survivor. But that is not why we're here. Probably what was on your mind? What topics do you want to chat about? What were you closing the show out with?
The SMT challenge runs I've been doing.
Okay, yeah. Which one are you currently processing on?
I'm currently doing 4 at a time here, which is more of a pain in the ass than I thought it was. My starting Magatama only run, which I mentioned last time, I'm also doing the a DDS 1 challenge where I can only use a character's starting mantra lines. I got that idea from Gnarly's video when he was mentioning SMT challenge runs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna do that. And then I'm doing the Persona 4 Golden low level challenge, and the last one I can remember is the hard type no fusion challenge in Nocturne.
I wonder if anyone's done this, because I've been thinking about challenge videos recently. Thankfully, not in terms of doing one. But I thought of a weird one that I feel like I haven't heard anyone talk about, but is definitely doable. Has no one done a Joker-only Strikers run?
Not that I know of. I bet you could find one online though.
I'm gonna look this up. But no, so for you, is there one you're particularly enjoying more than the other, and is there one you are hating way more than the other?
I can't really say for sure. I mean, I'm kind of neutral on all of them. I will say that DDS 1 has been a pain in my backside because I keep on getting charmed, and by the time it wears off, I'm dead. But other than that, like, I'm kind of neutral on everything else.
Mm-hmm. Unless I am super duper dummy thick. Oh, here we go. Arson only Merciless Joker Persona 5 apparently was attempted by OINKA, whoever that is. So it is not an original idea, and I'm a fake fan once again. Much to my doing. I got a weird one for you. So with whenever you're looking at newer games coming out, how soon do you look at it and then go, oh, this will be a fun thing to run? Because I'm going to be real. I think of fun challenge run ideas like way after I'm playing them. Like they're like the last thing on my mind when I'm playing them. Of like, oh, this would be fun if I did this. I think like the only games I've actually thought about that with would be something like, I think like a Fallout. Like Fallout mostly just because of how much you're building your characters, and almost those are kind of like runs. Like for me, I beat Fallout New Vegas back in the day. I did like a Dexter run. Like Dexter the serial killer of I only could use knives, and I had to always try and talk my way out of conversations and could never get caught. Like murdering people, I could never get caught.
Oh, that sounds painful. But on a scale of 1 to 10, how painful is that?
It was. What was funny is like, especially because like New Vegas gave you such freedom, especially in terms of like talking your way out of things. I actually had way more fun with that than anything. But on top of like playing that with, the, I'm trying to think of what it was called. Like its realism mode, like where you had to like drink water and even bullets had weights and stuff. Like that was the stuff that actually was harder to kind of micromanage than the combat limitations I had given myself more than anything.
All right, so all right. What did you ask previously?
So for
Sorry, I can't
you, when
remember.
you're playing newer games, how long do you kind of go until you think, oh, this would be a fun idea?
Uh, it's it's for me. When it's like with SMT, I think of like the obvious ones, like okay, no fusion and solo. Like those are the ones that come to mind because those have been done before.
I get
But in
have.
terms of like,
Oh, sorry. No,
oh
you go.
sorry.
No, you're good. You go.
All right. But I mean, I saw online like someone did a BioShock run where they only use the wrench. I don't know if you played BioShock.
I love Bioshock, all of them. I say all of them, but I still, much like many people, have not played 2. I need to play 2. What was funny is I just finally picked up a copy of the collection, because the collection came out forever ago, but was always at a bad time of like, oh, I'm playing other stuff, I gotta do other things. And I was like, oh, I'll pick it up because it's always going on clearance. And then eventually it went on clearance, and I never picked up, and all the copies disappeared. And if you remember, when it came out on Xbox and PS4, it came with a slipcase, and it came on 2 discs. And I really wanted that nice embossed glossy slipcase, and I kept eluding it for so many years. And I was just recently at a mall, and I found it, and I got it for like $13 in pristine condition. And I'm like, I don't know when I'm gonna replay you Bioshock 1, 2, and Infinite, but I'm committing to play you sometime soon because I love those games. Those games are so good.
I had to pay $30 for my copy of the collection, and one thing I like about the collection is that all 3 games are on the disc, and you don't have to download them from a server.
Very, very true. Very,
But
very
like
true.
on the Switch version, it's the complete opposite. At least I think, because I think the cartridge only has the first game, but you have to download the rest from Switch Online.
Yeah, and
Which,
the bummer is like the Switch version is like the only one you can find at retail anymore.
yeah, and I didn't have good luck at Best Buy because I found a copy for $20. I took it to the cashier. They were like I think like after 10 minutes they were like, "Yeah, it's out of stock." I'm like, "Why would you have it on the shelf then if it was out of stock?"
Well, yeah, you know, it's we like to get people's hopes up and then have them cry in front of the store. So I'll give you one more run question, and then I think I actually also have to run myself. Do you have a run that changed your mind for a game in terms of either the better or the worse? So you were doing a run, and you were like, "Man, I fucking hated this game until I did this run," or you were like, "God, I love this game, but this run ruined it for me."
Uh, uh, not not that I can think of. I mean, I'm still doing four challenge runs right now, but like I do plan on doing more in the future.
Mm-hmm. So by
But
the
like
way,
I'm juggling four.
so are you doing these like for a channel? Are you streaming them? Just doing them for your own like fun, or like are there any places people could check these out if they wanted?
Uh, I'm doing it for my channel.
Feel free to plug your
And
channel right now. The tail end of this 4-hour epic.
all right, well, I'm gonna. Would you mind if I plugged it into like the Discord chat because I mean
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
yeah, because every time I search my channel, it just goes to something unrelated.
It's like when I was talking to Kuro of the Midnight Channel. I was like, "Do you know there's 4 other The Midnight channels on YouTube? Like this is a terrible SEO."
Yeah, I absolutely hate that.
So yeah, you can throw it in the Discord. People can check it out like that. Also, I will, if I am very awake enough, by the time I either do this tonight or tomorrow, we'll throw it in the show notes because why the heck not?
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have your channel. Thank you for having all that and fun stuff. Any other last words before we get the heck out of here?
I might do a human only run of DDS1.
I'm trying to think like what that experience would kind of be like if like I see like I have this like weird thing of like I very rarely, and I don't even know what this just says about me as a person, I don't find the idea of a lot of challenge runs in RPGs like personally fun. I see why they're interesting, but it always like really kind of like makes me think of just like, yeah, I'm not I'm not interested in that for like what. For like whatever reason, it's just like one of those weird ones of like I can understand like so many things, but like it's like playing MOBAs and doing RPG challenge runs just zero interest for me personally. But it's so funny. It's like they are so popular, and I just do not get it. It's one of those weird. Like, did you personally have like anything that kind of got you like, oh yeah, I want to get into challenge runs because of like X, Y, or Z?
Well, Gnarly's no buff run, or actually no, his challenge runs of Persona 3, 4, and Nocturne like is what got me into it. But there's also another channel. Do you happen to know the channel 8-Bit Mischievous?
No, I do not. But also, if I was not literally personal friends with Gnarly, I would probably have never seen his channel. I am very boring on YouTube. I use my YouTube for like news and catching up on stuff, and almost never actually use it for like people who make YouTube videos.
That man did a solo run of Nocturne on normal mode, TDE, one press turn.
Like, so every battle had to be done in one press turn?
Yeah, because he didn't have a New Game Plus file.
Okay, so then this gets to another thing, because I've actually talked to Gnarly about this before. How often when you're having, like, runs with this many, like, stipulations and stuff, is then it's like, okay, but I have to, like, kind of hack the game or, like, level, like EXP glitch myself or whatever. Like, because I think as soon as a run involves you using a Game Shark or modding the game, I'm like, nah, dude, I'm out. Like, that's not fun. Like, it's already not fun for me. It's doubly less fun and doubly less impressive. Like, when, like for, like, Gnarly's, like Nocturne run and stuff, or, like, how long that took. When I was like, yeah, but, like, you still didn't actually do it. Because, like, I get it. You did it, but, like, you also, like, had to, like do, like, level, like, glitches and stuff where it's, like, I just, like, triply, like, kind of check out once, like, it physically can't be done without, like, breaking the game.
Well, I mean, to that extent, I feel like his use of cheats was, like, okay, because, like, he's not, like, cheating on the bosses, he's just, like, speeding up his level progression so that, like, it saves time.
And I get it. For human life spending and not wasting your time, I 1,000% get it. But it is one of those things of, I find, like, for example, someone actually grinding to level 99 on Destiny Island in Kingdom Hearts 1 more of an accomplishment than that. It's like, that's a terrible waste of time, but hey man, you fucking did it.
And also someone grinding to level 99 in the first reactor in FF7.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like, I think that is crazy. Like, but as soon as the Game Shark gets busted out, I'm just like, cool, but yeah, I need 100 or none.
Yeah.
Well, now that we're ending it on a fun negative note, everyone be excited for Gnarly to make his podcast debut back on SMTN anytime soon. Bid 2. I love the story of level 99 in Reactor 1 for Final Fantasy 7. It's really how the devs intended it, for you just to sit there and fucking grind your head into the wall.
Just imagine if that was an achievement on the PS4 version.
Oh, Jesus. Well, you know, at the very least it would be better, because then you can play the game at 300% speed.
Yeah, and also you feel like you got rewarded for something.
Yeah, let me tell you, I love doing challenges when it comes to trophies, but yeah, for, like, if there were fun challenge runs that could be trophies, I would definitely get it. Like, I guess shout out to people who do, like, retro achievements and stuff like that, but, like, trophies are, like, my, like, perfect middle ground between playing a game more than I should and for having no reason at all.
I mean, you went all out with the Nocturne HD Platinum Trophy.
Jesus, God, that felt like its own challenge run of me liking the game less and then somehow liking the game more by having. That was a not enjoyable platinum list. That was a very bad platinum. It's not hard, it's just not enjoyable, which is a bummer for when games you like have shitty trophy lists. But hey, Atlas is very uneven with their trophies and stuff. But speaking of uneven, this is like a 3-hour show. I gotta get out of here. Meggy Domon, thank you so much for being my last challenge run guest. You did the hardest challenge run of all, of sticking through this 3-hour show and popping into our chat at the end of it, so I appreciate it, man.
Hey, you're welcome. Anytime.
Alright, everybody. I've got to go. I've got to say goodbye. If you would like, you can check out this show on a weekly basis at YouTube, iTunes, Google, Spotify, all the fun places like that. Reviews help all the time. You know what helps even more? Subscribing on YouTube, because numbers matter to people sometimes. I'm always super appreciative of everyone who subscribes, but I'm even more appreciative of all the people who go to patreon.com/SMTN. If you go to patreon.com/SMTN, you can become an executive producer at the $5 and above level, like Jagingus, Patrick, Philip, Solaire, and Robert Dogman Magadillis. Thank you so much for all the executive producers. And also, if you just want to get the show early or just have exclusive perks and other giveaway opportunities, like all of the million, I think I have to do like 5 SMT5 giveaways soon. You can bet your sweet bippy the first one of those will be on the Patreon for SMTN. So there's the $1 SMTN fan tier that just means, hey, thank you for doing this podcast. And that really means a lot, because doing this podcast is definitely not free, and hosting 3-hour-long audio files is definitely not cheap, but I do it for you because I love you all. And yeah, thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for participating in our fun pre-Town Hall smorgasbord. And, yeah, I gotta get the heck out of here. Is it over? Solaire, it is over. Well, I mean, like, it's still happening, because this is the outro. But Solaire, clearly you heard me say your name, because you are an awesome Patreon exclusive person. And, I mean, if I was vamping, if you did want to pop in and say hi really fast and bye, you're more than welcome to. No pressure, because I don't know how fast or slow YouTube chat delay is. But everyone, thanks so much for watching. I'll be back next week. Will I have Shin Megami Tensei 5 on my Switch? I don't know. Will I be able to say if I have it on my Switch? I also don't know. Some publishers don't let you. I couldn't say I had Caligula. I don't know why. My trophies were open. You all could have known what I was playing at any time. Solaire, do not say sorry. Getting up for work is probably more profitable than this, so that is a very smart plan. Everybody, have a good day. Have a good night. I don't know what time you're listening to this, but I appreciate y'all sitting through this monstrositously long podcast. So, have a good night, and let's pray my wife is not too mad at me, because it's midnight. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.